is a beautiful day.
2024
D2.
This show is so obviously one of the best comedies in America.
It reminded me we were talking Dak Prescott.
Cake.
Dallas?
That guy's
Texas.
That guy's got a rump.
Baby got back. Time to get the day started.
Don't you cuss on this here radio. Getting you going in the morning.
Couldn't be better.
Big Rich.
I met Mama Dale. I met her live in person.
TD.
Did you allow us to accept cookies? And I said yes.
Fletch.
You see the personality side, which you never get to see on the field, because on the field he always looked like he kind of had diarrhea.
Now, here are the guys.
Welcome to 2024. For those who celebrate, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you for another and a new year. Happy New Year to all the roadies, the dogs, the hangers, the bangers, the texters, the tweeters. We love you all. Welcome to 2024. So, I mean, we could go in a million different directions this morning. We could, I mean, personally, we all had very interesting long weekends and holiday seasons and visitors from afar. But when you look at the sports landscape, I don't know what happened from the time we hung up the headphones on Friday until this morning on Tuesday morning, the 2nd of January. But the sports world just went, yeah, we're just going to give you it all at once.
Yeah, that basically happened.
The Aztecs get the biggest win of their season, arguably one of the most, if not the most important win of their entire 2023-2024 campaign. The NFL feels more rigged than ever after a Saturday outcome and what we saw on Sunday. College football playoffs had a standalone moment. Nothing else was really going on except for the CFP playoffs, and it appears they got it right. So, boys, what direction do we go in? What do we do this morning?
I'm kind of feeling like, what's his name? Ian Ziering from 90210. How he got mobbed by the biker gang. Jesus. Did anybody see this?
I do. Yeah. Well,
but did you see the video?
No, yeah. Well,
the bikers were on like little mopeds.
I know.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It might be a slightly dated reference, as it turns out.
Well, that was like Friday.
Oh wait, that happened this weekend?
Yeah.
Oh, no kidding. I thought that was a callback to the actual show.
No, he got mugged literally out in the streets of LA by a biker gang. There was like 6 dudes on I don't know, moped. They were like lawnmower engines.
Okay, well then, listen, I had no idea. I breezed past that headline. Never mind. Clear the slate. We start our show in our new year with Ian Zierling.
I think now we start our first show of the new year with Travis Dale taking a lap.
Oh, God, already?
Well, he's going to have a very, very, well, from a standpoint of, we're all going to get in better shape, but maybe Travis Dale in better shape than the rest of us.
Because of how many laps I have to take? All right, maybe we steer back to the NFL. Okay,
yeah,
all right.
The NFL was excellent. The NFL, however, definitely has been tinged with the feeling that outcomes may be predetermined.
And I do think that's where we start, because that Dallas Detroit game had to be one of the crazier endings to an NFL game all year, and it's so pointed at Dallas just getting gift wrapped a win. And on Detroit's side, they were still playing for the number 1 overall seed. They had an equal record of the San Francisco 49ers. They would have an equal record of the San Francisco 49ers had the refs not totally butchered that call. So, Rich, take us exactly what happened when Decker reported but didn't report to the official that he was an eligible receiver on the play.
Well, the official who was taking stock of who was reporting just got it wrong. Like he reported the wrong number as an eligible receiver to the defense. And now look, as an offensive lineman, it's your job to make sure not only that it's effectively communicated, but you find a referee, you walk directly up to that referee and you show him your number and you say 68 reporting. 68 reporting. That's all you have to do. And usually like you gesture towards your number. So he sees it and then like they make a similar hand gesture to the defense. And then sometimes they'll even announce it to the crowd over the ref mic. And so all of a sudden play goes off. Awesome catch by Decker in the back of the end zone. Lions win. Wait, no, penalty on the Detroit Lions for illegal receiver downfield. And so they get walked back. And then, you know, the hilarity of the end of that game ensued. Dallas wins by a single point. And it just sort of feels like everybody out there who thinks, well, the NFL is scripted. Well, the NFL is rigged. Well, the NFL, it's just sports entertainment. They can determine their own outcome. Well, that crowd got a huge bone thrown their way because this crew completely screwed up the ending of one of the most consequential games of the weekend slate.
Yeah, it was rough to watch as a fan because, I mean, we say it time and time again. We do not want the refs to be the reason that there is a certain outcome of the game. I don't look at this as, oh, it was scripted. I didn't feel that. I felt that Brad Allen's the ref,
Brad
right?
Allen, yeah.
He screwed it up.
He did.
He screwed it up. And he, instead of coming out and saying, hey, we screwed that up, because I would imagine the NFL does not want that to happen, he acted like it didn't occur. Look, there's video of 68 reporting. To be fair, the Detroit Lions tried to get cute. Number 70 ran up like he was going to report, like always. He did not, but that was the intent, to throw off the defense. He didn't report. 68 reports. That doesn't get communicated directly in Brad Allen's brain, so therefore now it's a penalty. But I mean,
by the way,
Dan Campbell before the game told the refs that we're going to do this play,
and this is commonplace during my time playing. I was used as a jumbo package, tight end in short yardage and goal line all the time. When you're a tight end on field goal or extra point protection, your number one job out there, besides blocking the guy in front of you, is reporting to the officials and making sure that you make eye contact. They see the gesture towards your jersey, and they go and report it to either the head official, or they go and they find the defense, and then they tell them. Like I said, this is commonplace. Like, this isn't something that should have surprised anybody in that stadium. And then, frankly, I know they're not allowed to review certain things, but in such a consequential moment, this may end up leading to rule changes in the NFL, where every single aspect of a scoring play may be reviewable, because that is the only recourse that Detroit or any of these teams who don't want to get caught in a similar imagine the Super Bowl ended this way.
Oh, your stomach would turn.
Well, your stomach would turn, but you would have millions upon millions upon billions of dollars spent, lost during such a, think about that. That was Dallas on the money line. Detroit wins on the spread.
Right.
Like, think about the amount of people who would have, depending on how tight the spread is at kickoff, like how many people have their fortunes switched if Detroit wins instead, just in terms of money line bet.
And I'm sure that happened in this one too, not just the Super Bowl. So, and now you look at it, and I think what was refreshing about it was the next morning, Adam Schefter on the ESPN pregame show, I believe Rich Eisen on the NFL Network pregame show. It wasn't like a hand-holding of the refs trying to make it feel a little better. No, they were going after Brad Allen and the entire crew, because that's the only thing you could do in that situation. Dan Campbell was given an opportunity to do that same thing. I believe this was his Monday morning press conference, so after everything had gone through. And now, if you didn't love Dan Campbell before, you will after listening to this. I don't know if you guys have heard it yet, but take a listen to the coach, who was literally gift-wrapped at an opportunity to just beat these refs into oblivion.
I've been recycling my own urine like an energy drink since 4 o'clock in the morning. I mean, open the door, step into the bathroom, right from the tap, been slurping it down. And now as a result, I got rage and vengeance fueling through me. It's crazy. So, Dan, is it accurate that you just admitted to drinking your own urine? That's right. That's right. My own urine every single morning since.
And now he's ready to bite more kneecaps. TD brought it up briefly, but I think it's a bigger part of the story. Rex Ryan commented about it the next day. Brady Quinn this morning on Two Pros and a Cup of Joe was talking about the fact that Dan Campbell would have had a meeting pregame with the officials where he would have told them that the play was coming.
Oh,
that the
yeah.
play was
Mhm.
going to happen.
Yeah.
And they probably did the same thing on the fake punt that Detroit had earlier in the game. And then they would have done it about any plays regarding trick plays of linemen reporting eligible. Truth?
Yeah, no, I mean, every head coach in the league will tip off the officials to let them know, because you don't want to fool the officials because of fear of this happening.
Which is what happened. The
Yeah.
official got fooled.
So before the game, you say, hey, listen, if we're in a 2-point conversion, we're going to have one of our offensive linemen reporting he's in the route, so just letting you know he may touch the football. Okay, thanks, coach. I mean, it's a quick breeze by. It's not like a long, lengthy thing. It's just like, and then it's a lot of like, hey, how was your holiday? Yeah, great. Go, the kids got everything they want for Christmas. All right, buddy, let's have a good game, all that. You walk away. You get to know these officiating crews. Well, the unfortunate thing for Brad Allen, they got kicked out of the postseason in the NFL. They are not going to be able to referee a single game in the postseason.
Bummer.
As they should.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because
And those are significant paychecks too.
Yeah.
The postseason rate for referees is much higher than the regular season.
Well, and then on top of it, like this was the same crew that screwed up the no call between the Packers and the Chiefs on the Valdez Scantling. When the Packers defender committed pass interference, clear pass interference to Marquez Valdez Scantling, that didn't get called. That was this same crew. Also, it was the same crew where the Eagles absolutely blew out the Dolphins. The Dolphins lose the game, and you say, well, how much did the officials have to do with that one? They called 10 penalties on the Dolphins. They called 0 on the Eagles. Yeah. How is that even possible? So this is a bad officiating crew.
The fact of the matter, though, as Dan Campbell was speaking there, as he's saying, we if we needed 1 or 2 more plays there to make that work, I mean, you did have 2 other chances at that 2-point conversion, or you could have kicked it and tied it if it wasn't working out.
That's the thing that's not being talked about at all. Is that Dan Campbell was continuing to just go for it and go for it and go for it. I was actually at a bar with a bunch of Lions fans that night.
Oh, wow.
A great spot down off Mission Gorge, but I didn't even know it was a Lions bar. We were just going for food, and we sit down, and turns out there's like 20 Lions fans in there who were losing their mind, all of them saying the exact same 3 words, effing kick it.
Right.
And they were saying it over and over again. Why would not just take that one into overtime?
Well, I'll tell you what, where Dan Campbell succeeded here, even with the loss, is he provided the Lions a chip on their shoulder. He provided the fire. He provided the reason, we got screwed. Now they have a reason to go fight and go out there and try to kick some arse of everyone they come across because they were wronged in this game. So Dan Campbell may be an evil genius.
What I got for you is new standings in the NFL and a lot to play for in week 18 of this season. We'll start on the AFC side. Baltimore Ravens, they're at the top of the AFC with 13 wins. They've clinched that spot. Behind them, Miami Dolphins, Kansas City, both clinching playoff berths. But the Jacksonville Jaguars, the NFC South, very much in play. We'll get back to that. But the Cleveland Browns' first wild card, they've clinched a wild card berth with 11 wins. Joe Flacco was sleepy on the sideline afterward. The Buffalo Bills are in at 6 for now. And then you have the Indianapolis Colts at 7 in the postseason, in the wild card chase, also in the hunt for the NFC South, as is the Houston Texans. So the Jacksonville Jaguars absolutely has to win their game against the Titans this weekend. Colts and Texans play each other. That decides the AFC South. A lot of fun there. NFC side. So you have the San Francisco 49ers alone at the top at number 1, Dallas Cowboys at number 2, Detroit Lions at number 3, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, NFC South open. We'll get back to that. Philadelphia Eagles in the first wild card spot, Los Angeles Rams at 6, Green Bay Packers at 7. So still up in the air in the hunt are the Seahawks, the Saints, and the Vikings. So only officially 9 teams have been eliminated. You have all these other teams in the hunt or in the postseason bracket right now. And 2 divisions are still up in the air. One in the AFC, one in the NFC. Both the South Division can be won by multiple teams. A lot of fun. Looking forward to that.
One little nugget you mentioned there, which is a bit of a shocker. The Eagles in the wild card spot.
Yeah.
I mean,
Cowboys have the tiebreaker.
No, I get it. The Eagles are not the same team as last year.
No, they are not. And you saw that loss this past weekend to the Cardinals. I don't think anybody expected Detroit Cowboys to be as consequential as it was, but because the Eagles lost to the Cardinals and Detroit didn't beat the Cowboys have control of the East, which if those results were flip-flopped and potentially very easily could have been in the Detroit-Dallas game, not as much in the Eagles game, we could have had a very different looking situation.
Well, and look at the ramifications that come out of that Lions-Dallas game when it comes to the top seed in the NFC.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the 49ers have it now because of that game. The Lions would have had the same record as the Niners. Both teams would have had more to play for in the final week. Now the Niners are able to rest everybody. Christian McCaffrey has a nagging calf injury. Well, he's not playing. Guess what? I'm sure the majority of their offense isn't playing next week because they don't have to.
I'm very curious to see who they start. Also, the Ravens. How much game time do you give your starters as you're rolling into the postseason? Because it could be a very long respite, especially with a bye week to start.
Did Lamar already lock up the MVP? Do they want to put him out there just to win the MVP?
I think he
serious
locked it
question
up.
marks.
I think he locked it up, but yeah, I think it's his. It's certainly his to lose at this point. I don't really see him losing it.
He was so good this weekend.
If they sit him down, he still wins
I
it,
think
right?
so,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, he doesn't have to play to win this thing. But do they sit him? Because then he's sitting for 2 weeks.
We'll get back to that. What I want to concentrate on for at least a little bit here as we still start this show is the fact that yesterday delivered 2 absolutely awesome games, college football playoffs.
That's Williams in motion. Low snap. Melrose stopped. Michigan makes a stand and comes up with a milestone playoff victory.
So that was the Rose Bowl. That's how it ends. Jalen Milroe comes up short on the keeper. Low snap, like you heard it there. There were a couple of kind of bad snaps in the overtime period in fourth quarter for Alabama. It didn't determine the game, but it certainly created more nervousness with the Crimson Tide fans. So Roll Tide goes down. Wolverines advance to the national championship game.
If that wasn't a low snap, was he the original play to go to the running back who was streaking wide open down the left side?
You know what? I hadn't really paid close enough attention to the play design.
I saw someone online do a little like breakdown. It was like a Baldy breakdown, but it wasn't Brian Baldinger, so I don't trust it as much, saying that this was technically a read option type of play, and the quarterback, had it not been a low snap, would have looked directly left to the running back who was running out.
I'll look at the play again and I'll give you my diagnosis of it. I don't even remember what the running back was doing in that play, so I can't comment intelligently on it, but I will look at the play and I'll get back to you on that. But yeah, so exciting finish. All right. And then the Rose Bowl ends. And then right as the Rose Bowl ends, we're into pregame with the Sugar Bowl between Washington and Texas. And that one delivers too. All the stars played well. Quinn Ewers, Penix Jr., who looks like he should have won the Heisman. I realized Daniels had a phenomenal season, but that dude is like a sniper out there. What a game, high scoring affair. The final ends up being 37-31 in regulation. Washington Huskies, Wolverines will be your natty championship. But it sort of feels like, just from a standpoint of delivering the best watches, like the most compelling matchups, College Football Playoff Committee got it right, leaving Florida State out and having the teams that they selected in.
Yeah, it does, which is a little bit of a bummer, I think, for the fans. You don't want to go, okay, what you did was correct, because what you did was wrong. Right. I mean, so it's a little rough on that standpoint. The one thing that I think that college football is probably not real happy about, though, is Jim Harbaugh moving on. I mean, is that what they want?
It's clicks. It's certainly the entertainment value is jacked up because Jim Harbaugh is there, and all the media scrums are going to be a little bit bigger because Jim Harbaugh is there. I don't know that it's necessarily a bad thing at this point because it's still feeding the beast. Whether it's good or bad, like, Jim Harbaugh is the most relevant person in college football right now, and I think that they would much rather have him in than out.
Well, I'll tell you what, I like the games.
Yeah.
I mean, they're fun.
It was amazing. It was probably some of the best college football watching that has occurred all season, especially considering how many times this season during the NFL season, primetime matchups, we're slated to watch a great game, and then all of a sudden it was kind of a dud. Like, this delivered. And frankly, the college football playoff has not delivered like that in a long time, if not ever. I don't know if I remember a single year where both semifinal games were hyper competitive, we've had a lot of blowouts in the semifinals.
And how about for the first time all year, we get to sit down and watch 2 college football games that were primetime, the biggest deal on the planet. And the story was actually about college football and what was being played on the field. It wasn't NIL. It wasn't cheating coaches. I mean, outside of the Harbaugh stuff, but that really took a back seat yesterday. And so it was all about what was actually happening on the field. Both teams had the majority, if not all of their players actually playing in the 2 games, where you look at like Florida State, we just mentioned, got their asses kicked because they didn't have anybody playing in that game against Georgia.
Yeah.
So the college football playoff delivered because it was the 4 best teams with all their players actually playing and no one talking about NIL or transfer portal or cheating coaches. It was just football.
Well, yeah, no, without a doubt. The problem is how do you sustain that going forward? I mean, you have to make these bowl games meaningful, or there's some written clause that they have to play, because as time moves on here, more and more of these players who are receiving NIL money will realize that it is not beneficial for them to go play and potentially get hurt and cost themselves millions, if not tens of millions of dollars.
Yeah, and I think that this NIL money that's been flooding into players' pockets for a variety of ways and for a variety of reasons, it may change soon. Like, we may not see, because huge sponsors aren't going to go out there and support bowl games that are drawing 0 people watching at home.
Right.
So you're going to see less and less money potentially spent on the postseason in college football. And as a result, a lot of these NIL deals changing, or regulation put in place, guardrails to protect money, because that's how the country works. That's how the world works, is when funds aren't being appropriated in a way that the powers that be find or deem acceptable, things change.
Yeah.
And I do think that changes are coming. So I agree with you. It waters down and dilutes the postseason product. It's not good for the sport, but these players need to get while the getting's good, because I think the Wild West is going to turn into the OK Corral pretty soon.
Yeah, well, no, I agree. And Rich, I mean, a few weeks ago, we talked about there was a possibility of schools paying student athletes. Now they become they have a contract with them. They're an employee of the school, essentially. Does that force them to play in these bowl games?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see if they can make those sort of rules. Like, I mean, can you force a player who's already declared himself eligible for the draft to be a professional? Can you force a player who wants to preserve his health to go play for a different university under these rules? I don't think he can, but then again, who knows? Who knows what the rules are going to look like coming up here soon. What I do know is this: we got to get back to the NFL. We only just scratched the surface on week 17 and the insanity that ensued, and we'll take a closer look at that playoff picture. But first, we got to talk about Travis's shrinking waistline. My gosh, look at this.
It's about to get a little smaller, boys.
We're gonna get even skinnier belt.
New year, new us, right?
That's right.
Yeah, we're jumping back on the diet here. We're gonna go back and do exactly what we did when we started SD Fat Loss. We lost 30 pounds plus a piece here in 8 weeks. Now, I'm not looking to drop 30 pounds here, but I mean, I could use 10 or 15 more. I think that'd be fine. And look, what you don't want to do is lose the weight and then gain it all back. That's yo-yo dieting. SD Fat Loss, they stopped the yo-yo dieting, because a lot of these fad diets, these medication diets, they're just appetite suppressants. So as soon as you stop taking those appetite suppressants, you gain the weight right back. Not with SD Fat Loss. They have the secret for quick weight loss and, most importantly, lasting weight loss. And that's what we're doing. We're jumping back on. So jump back on it with us. SDFatLoss.com. Go there right now. You're not going to have to exercise. You're not going to count points or calories or drink shakes or eat granola bars that you don't like. None of that stuff. You're going to eat the food that you like to eat, and you're going to lose weight, and you're going to lose weight fast. SDFatLoss.com. It's a new year. Get that resolution going right now, because I know dropping a few pounds is on the list. So schedule your free consultation today. SDFatLoss.com. We got to try to break down this NFL playoff picture with 1 week left in the season. We'll do that next.
This update is presented by the Jim Buttrell Real Estate Team. We will begin with college football. We had a couple really good college football playoff games last night. Washington took down Texas 37-31. Michael Penix Jr., 430 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. Then Michigan beat Alabama in overtime at the Rose Bowl, 27-20 final score. Alabama failing to convert on 4th down in overtime. In college hoops, Aztecs got a huge win Friday night against Gonzaga, 84-74. They got Fresno State tomorrow night at Viejas Arena. We have a pair of tickets to that game coming up on the show today. And in the NFL, as the final week of the regular season approaches, there are 5 playoff spots left. 11 teams still have a chance to make the postseason. Would you like to know what your home would sell for today? Get a simple text message with your home's value by texting your address to 855-600-6000. You'll get no phone call, just a text. Jim Buttrell has the buyer. Simply text your address to 855-600-6000.
Big Red Sheedy and Fletch at San Diego Sports 760. Happy New Year. First show of the new year. Second day of the new year. And we have a pair of tickets to go see the Aztecs take on Fresno State tomorrow night. Viejas Arena. Tip time 7:30. Pregame coverage begins at 6:30. Tickets and info at goaztecs.com. We got to get into that a little bit later because, holy smokes, man. What a weekend for the Aztecs.
That was so awesome on Friday night.
Goodness.
Like, we have personal connections here in the building because our boss, Noreen, is a huge Gonzaga fan. And so I actually took a bold step and I texted her on Friday night after the game and said, so sorry about your Zag.
Oh, wow.
So heartbreaking.
Wow.
She didn't think that was very funny.
Yeah, I would. Did she respond?
Oh, she did. Yeah.
Was she angry?
Angry is not the right word. She was making all sorts of excuses for Gonzaga. Like, I think they were too tired for this game. Come on. So, okay, the national.
The travel?
I don't know. Yeah, they were playing at home. But the thing that pissed me off the most, Travis, and a lot of San Diego State fans are mad because they're not in the top 25 still. And I get they should be in the top 25. It's ridiculous that they're not. What made me mad is the tweets from the National Basketball College media immediately after that game were all, well, this is the worst Gonzaga's been in years. Where this is, okay, this is the San Diego State got Gonzaga at a good time. Bull honky.
All right. Well, we'll get into that. We'll get into that here in a bit because what we do need to break down is this NFL playoff picture because, I mean, look, as things are locking up here, there's still a lot of teams in the hunt. I mean, there's still a lot that can happen.
Well, there's 11 teams that can still technically make the playoffs. Now, the 5 teams who would be in if the season ended today are the Bucks, Packers on the NFC side, Jags, Bills, Colts on the AFC side. Those are not guaranteed, though. So the Seahawks, Saints, Vikings, Falcons all still have a shot at the NFC. Texans and Steelers also still have a shot in the AFC. That Texans, they play the Colts. That game is going to be the most consequential one coming up this weekend because that's for the division, that's for the playoff spot, that's for everything. But I love that we have this much left to decide as we get to the final week of the NFL season.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. The Steelers on the bubble. I need the Steelers to beat the Seahawks in order to not eat the chip.
Let me look here.
What?
I'll get a full report for you guys coming up later in the show.
You will.
I mean,
because that is all we're really paying attention to.
I'm really concerned about.
I think last week was bad for me. I don't know. Well, I'll get a full report later.
So the Pocky One Chip year-long challenge that determines who eats the spiciest tortilla chip in the world on air.
It's killed a man.
It's killed a man. It has killed a human being. Somebody is in here who used to be here on one side of eating that Pocky One Chip challenge. So the coffin-shaped box still waiting proudly in our office for one of us to potentially succumb to its capsaicin.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. The Jaguars, who are currently sitting in I guess they would be the first. No, they would win the division, right?
Yeah. So they're right now they're in the lead
Right.
of the AFC South. So they're the 4 seed in the AFC.
Right. Okay, that is correct. Not a great team.
No,
Not
really.
a great team.
So they have wins that tie break over Indianapolis and Houston based on head-to-head winning percentage. However, if they lose to the Titans, Houston and Indy play each other. So somebody's going to have 10 wins, or 2 teams are going to have 10 wins coming out of the South. So that means if they're not it, and Houston, somebody has to win that game, either Houston or the Colts, which then again, I guess at the end of the regular season, do they change the rules? Because a game can finish in a tie. And then what the hell happens? In the regular season, games can finish in ties.
It's true.
So what happens if the Colts, and nobody's asked this question yet, what happens if the Colts and the Texans tie this football game and Jacksonville loses to the Titans? Then what? We have I guess it's Jacksonville because they have the tiebreaker.
Yeah, they have the tiebreaker.
Okay. Oh, I was about to have a panic attack.
That was very scary.
But what about the Colts have the tiebreaker over Houston, so the Colts would go as well if there's a tie.
So the Colts, if they lose heads up to the Houston Texans, I believe the Texans leapfrog them for a wild card spot.
Right. Well,
but they would need then the Colts or the Texans would need then the Jaguars to lose to the Titans in order to get the 4 seed.
But if the Colts and the Texans were to tie,
good point.
And then the Steelers win, then the Steelers would leapfrog and they would take that 7th wild card spot.
Oh no, I've gone cross-eyed.
Exactly.
I have no idea.
Isn't this what's awesome about football? Is so much of this could still play out. Like in baseball, we get to the end of the regular season. It's like, okay, well, there's 2 teams that might be able to get in with a win on the last day, but that's it throughout the whole league. We have 11 different teams who can still make the postseason based on what happens this upcoming week.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, that makes it a lot more fun.
I think 12 teams officially have been eliminated, so there are 20 teams alive in the NFL total.
And there's 5 playoff spots remaining. So is that even more? Is it 15 teams could still?
So let's put it this way.
Cross-eyed is putting it lightly.
And if you want to get a little more cross-eyed, if you look at the NFC South, 3 of the 4 teams have a shot to make
win
the
division.
To win the division.
Yeah, to win the division. That's accurate. That's 100%. I don't know how the NFL does it, but they added a playoff team a couple of years ago, and it's only improved the quality of the product because having the only the 1 seed have the bye going into the postseason makes it way more competitive for the 2 seed, the 3 seed, the 4 seed, and beyond. And then I don't know. They have the perfect regular season right now. If they add a game, does it water it down? Does it dilute it? I don't know. We know that it's heading in that direction. 17 is a weird number of games to play. I'm sure they want to get it back up to an even number and have teams play 18. We'll see in the future. But right now, the end of the NFL regular season is insane. And you start spotlighting some teams like the Miami Dolphins, the way that they've played recently. How good do they look as a 2 seed? The Kansas City Chiefs down the stretch. How good do they look as a 3 seed? Like, I know the Baltimore Ravens seem like they're hurtling toward a Super Bowl berth, but Lamar Jackson in the postseason, we know that's been a problem.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy and his elbow in last year's postseason. Kyle Shanahan in every postseason has been a problem. So even when you look at the 2 juggernauts right now, the Ravens and the San Francisco 49ers, they still can be had. Like, this is as wide open of a playoff race as we've had in a long time.
Yeah, and Lamar Jackson, he does not want to go up against Joe Flacco.
Would you?
No. But I'm looking at the AFC right now, and I'm like, you're telling me the Browns are the only team? I mean, in my head, the Browns are the top team to take on the Ravens. Not the only team, but the top team. I mean, you can't count out the Chiefs, in my opinion.
No.
Because you got Patrick Mahomes. There's a wild card there. You got Love with Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, and that may reignite them in some manner.
That's a great point.
The Miami Dolphins look like they're falling apart. Which is odd to say because 2 weeks ago I'm like, no, the Dolphins are gonna come alive here, and some major injuries on that team.
Oh, I know.
That not good,
not good at all. But it's all happening. The playoff race is wide open. It starts up again this week, week 18. consequential to say the very least, interesting at very least, and then at most, I mean, could be one of those situations where, depending on injuries, depending on things that may happen the final week of the season, like we even saw last night. So college football, we saw 2 key injuries at the end of the game for Washington. Their running back goes down. They had a starting corner go down, even in the victory over Texas. Will that affect their national championship run? So it happens all the time. It's football. It's a war of attrition. So it's not just the best team. It's also sometimes the healthiest teams that prevail in the postseason.
Looking at the seeding here right now, if it ended today, round 1, the Chiefs would take on the Bills.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Jaguars at Cleveland. Dolphins at Colts. Ravens obviously get the bye in the AFC. The NFC, the Niners have the week off. Then it'd be Cowboys at Packers. Lions at Rams, which could get dicey. And then Bucks at Eagles.
Yeah, dude. Okay, so of those games, where's
What's
the upset?
this look on your face here, Fletch?
So the upsets for
I'm
me.
not eating the chip. That's the only thing that's official.
Wait a second. Wait, so is that what you were doing this whole time?
I'm the only one not eating the chip. That's
Wow.
official.
Wait, so what happens with us?
It's still up in the air.
We have to eat it together like Lady and the Tramp.
No,
God.
it's the games that you
String
care
of
about.
spaghetti.
Rich, you need the Broncos to win the final game of the season.
Oh, Jesus.
Travis, you need the Steelers to win the final game of the season. Rich, you need the Bills to win their final game of the season. Both of you need desperately the Eagles to win their final game. Seahawks, Travis needs them, and the Bears, both of you need them to make it even close. But right now, I have a pretty commanding lead.
Okay, hold on here, though. So there's a scenario where both Rich and I have to eat the chip.
Yes.
What? So we're going to have to get like another chip?
Or just split the chip we have.
I mean, we always
I don't know if you can get another chip.
Yeah, that's true.
They're
too.
banned.
It's contraband now. I mean, yeah, is it illegal to try to purchase another chip
on eBay?
Oh, you know what? Last time we did this, we actually we mentioned it on air, and listeners showed up with multiple chips. Like they were just like, "Yeah, I had one laying in the house because I bought it. And nobody wanted to try it. Nobody wanted to die."
Hockey one chip. Oh, we can get one for less than $20.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So we'll make sure we both have one. That is going to be the worst day of my life.
Rich, to make you feel a little better, it certainly looks right now as if Travis is going to be eating the chip.
That's not good.
Well, that makes me feel better. You know what? I'm less excited about his struggle and more so about my safety, which is good, which is a good thing.
Wait a minute. This isn't the same chip, is it?
It looks similar.
Oh, that's 2021.
Oh, interesting. So they're selling the old. Yeah. Get one of the new boys.
2023.
Get one of them 2023 Johns.
Still doesn't look like our chip box. I don't know. Don't know. Might be in an old one.
We're going to have some investigating to do. That certainly is coming up very shortly here on the program. Also, we haven't even mentioned it yet, but the biggest weekend for the Aztecs, maybe ever. We're going to get to that on the other side. But first, want to talk to you about a new year and a new you. If you've been waiting to have some of that major dental work that you've been putting off for a while, I don't want you to put it off any longer because I have the solution for you. It's Dr. Jordan Colby of Ocean View Dental. Head on over to oceanviewdental.net. See some of the before and after pictures. This man is a miracle worker, and I don't use that lightly. He truly transforms smiles. He changes lives. He's changed my life. So I've told this story before, but I needed 3 implants put in my mouth. I was missing a bunch of molars from broken teeth from my playing career that got infected, or cavity, root canal, all that stuff. You start going down that path. And what happened for me is I didn't have viable teeth anymore. They had to be removed and they had to be replaced. And I didn't know who to turn to. And then I was talking to LaDonna Harvey over here with Kogo News. And she said, you need to see my dentist. And Dr. Colby was incredible. He explained my procedure. He showed me my digital pictures of what it all entailed. And I was 100% confident and comfortable that he was my new dentist and the best possible option for me. His motto, no matter your situation, he can help you create a confident and healthy smile. And his advanced specialty is implants. After doing my homework, he was the guy. I wouldn't have this done by any other doctor. And he's built a world-class, family-oriented dental practice at Ocean View Dental. He's got one location in Fallbrook as well. It's awesome, providing excellent care, personal, professional attention that your family deserves. And that's what it's become. It's become a situation where I'm welcomed like a member of the family over there at Ocean View Dental. This procedure, I was told by other dentists, was going to take 1.5 years of my life to complete. Dr. Colby got it done in 3 months. I didn't miss a single day of work during my busiest season of the year. If you want results like this, or if you're just due for your next cleaning and you're looking for a new dentist, please, please go to oceanviewdental.net. Book your first appointment today with Dr. Jordan Colby.
The Aztecs, they can't get no respect. We'll explain next.
Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. However you listen to us on a normal basis, we definitely thank you. We're very grateful. But if you're listening on the iHeartRadio app, free, by the way, we really appreciate it because that's the best way for us for you to listen to the show for multiple reasons. We won't get into all the details, but one of the most important ones is because if you like the show, you could share it easily with everyone else. Go ahead and click the share link. Pass it along to a buddy. Don't keep it a big secret. That doesn't help. so go ahead. Go ahead. If you dig the show, we'd appreciate it if you pass along to somebody else. Okay, so the Aztecs, they are in what I call purgatory when it comes to the AP voting. The Aztecs are in the others receiving votes category in the AP top 25. So going into the weekend, the Zags are going into the game against Gonzaga. The Zags were 13th ranked in the country. The Aztecs were unranked. Well, heading out of the weekend after a huge win on the road in their place, beating the Bulldogs, the Zags are now 24th, and the Aztecs are still unranked. And they're in the others receiving votes category. This is one of the most ridiculous and frankly atrocious and ignorant omissions that AP voters may have ever made. Like, this is arguably one of the biggest wins in Aztecs program history in the non-conference schedule outside of tournament play.
Right.
You're going to keep them unranked? Nobody's watching these games. That's what it's come down to. These basketball writers and these broadcasters and whoever has these AP votes aren't actually watching the games. That's what it comes down to.
So Friday night, I was sitting here with John Schaefer and Brent Sperry, and we were watching the game. And what I saw was a top 25 team playing against another top 25 team. That's what I saw.
Correct. 100%.
And so coming out of the game, the first thing I do is open up Twitter, and I see tweets from John Rothstein, who covers college basketball at the national level. And what's his first tweet after that game? This is the worst Gonzaga team since 2016.
Oh, baloney. Oh, screw you, John Rothstein.
Andy Katz.
Baloney.
Andy Katz, who covers college basketball for CBS at the national level, his first tweet was, wow, Gonzaga's having a down year. Like, I don't understand why you just can't give credit where credit's due, because me watching that game, I saw San Diego State go on the road into one of the tougher environments in the country, use bench points and excellence defensively to beat a very good Gonzaga team who has dudes, who has Graham Ike, one of the best players to ever come out of the Mountain West. Remember, he was at Wyoming last year. He is a dude. And they got the guy from Creighton who actually screwed up the game against the Aztecs in the Elite Eight, but he's over with Gonzaga now. Like, I don't get the narrative running around that, oh, San Diego State only won because Gonzaga sucks. I hate that storyline. And what I saw was dominance and excellent coaching on San Diego State side. And I saw a Gonzaga team who couldn't hit shots late. That's what I saw.
And I think if we were the ones who were sitting here ranking anything, or any teams, that is, and you look at a team and go, okay, so where does Gonzaga sit? Well, they just had a loss. They're going to drop down. Oh, wait, the team that beat them, they can't be lower than them because they clearly beat them. Well, no, I'm just saying.
Let the metrics do it. Because the metrics will tell you San Diego State's a top 22 team. The metrics will tell you on the net side that they're 24th, I believe, and then on KenPom, they're 22.
And net rankings, they're 22.
So I say us, but I just mean as far as normal humans outside of the realm of this, looking at games, matching them up, and you go, well, a team that just lost to another team can't rank higher than them. They lost.
Yeah. No, I mean, that what you just said makes sense. But here we are. We're looking. Okay, so if I'm going to try to make sense of this, which I hate to do, they've lost all of their quad one games. That's the reason why Gonzaga is considered to be, quote unquote, having a down year, because they lost to the Huskies and they lost to UConn and they lost to San Diego State. And there was another quad one loss somewhere in there. They've won
Washington.
No, I mentioned that one. There was a different one. It might have been. No, they beat UCLA and they're not quad one this year, I don't think. It'll come back to me. But anyways, so you lose these quad one games and everybody says it's down year for you. Okay, fine. Yeah, it can be, but I mean, it doesn't it doesn't refute the fact that San Diego State can also be having a good year and also should be ranked. And I don't understand how they're not. I just don't get it. And look, I completely get that this is subjective. I completely get that it really doesn't make any difference because, you know, we had Coach Velasquez on last week and we're talking to him about it. Like, hey, you know, does it offend you at all? He's like, we don't pay any attention to that stuff. We're just trying to win as many games as possible, be a tournament team, competitive in our conference, all the things that they still have ahead of them. It really doesn't matter the opinions of writers or broadcasters, but it does still sting. And I don't know why. I guess because we're fans and you get wrapped up in the storylines of these players and you want them to get what they deserve and the attention that the program deserves. Because frankly, in a world where name, image, and likeness rules the day, having a top 25 team to me does matter.
It does matter. And I understand the notion that, well, it doesn't matter until March. And what matters in March is net and KenPom. Yeah, but what matters to the general public is the AP poll because that's what you see.
Oh,
That's
Purdue was the other quad one loss. Yeah.
And they're like the number one ranked team in the country.
Yeah,
So
they're really good. They're really
all
good.
right. But when you look at the Mountain West and what's coming up for the Aztecs, the good news for San Diego State fans is they have quad one wins in conference, which is not something you can always say. So quad one opportunities, sorry, not quad one wins. Nevada, Colorado State, New Mexico, Utah State all had tremendous non-conference schedules this year, and they all came out of it looking very good. So the Mountain West is up. All five of these teams, those four, and then San Diego State are projected tournament teams as of right now. So San Diego State going into the conference schedule has opportunities, which that wasn't always the case. The Mountain West has really stepped up as a basketball conference.
Yeah, and you look at what they've done. Home, obviously, the Aztecs have been great. They're 4-0. Neutral floors, which they've played 3 times on neutral courts. They've gone 3-0. They're splitting on the road. I mean, this is exactly what you wanted to see from this team, and their only losses were to quad one teams
on the road.
On the road, yeah. So
which that is huge metrically.
These metrics, they add up to this being a top 25 at very least, if not a top 20 team, because even in the metrics, like these are all based off of algorithms, and again, opinions get injected into that. You can make an easy argument that this is a top 20 team in the nation, and nobody should have any problem with that, except for whatever reason, the damn AP voters have done it again. And it just grinds my gears because it's not even a West Coast bias. How is Gonzaga still ranked in the San Diego State Aztecs are not? Okay. All right. I need to calm down. Or actually, maybe I need to keep this energy flowing because that's exactly what it is. I'm feeling new energy, and a lot of it has to do with Dr. Roy David over at Golden Triangle Plastic Surgery, the Man Zone. And so that's where I've been going to get some testosterone replacement therapy. So look, I'm 37. And when you get into your late 30s, probably the last thing you're thinking about is, should I have my T levels checked? Well, I did, and I was stunned to find out that there's this range. It's between 300 and 1,000. And that's the average, right? You have to fall somewhere in that range to be considered average in terms of your testosterone. I was in the low 3s. To me, that's a problem. I don't want to be on the low average side. I want to boost those numbers up. So I went in, I started my TRT with Dr. Roy David, who's a professional board certified plastic surgeon. And it was amazing. He explained to me the whole process. He did his initial testing with me. And I felt comfortable the entire time. This isn't something to be embarrassed about. This is a medical procedure done by a doctor. They take a look at your numbers. They take a look at your blood. They measure everything for you. They make sure that your hormone levels are matching with what they should be for somebody who's a man functioning at the age he's at. So, right, your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and you're starting to feel a little sluggish, low energy. Maybe when you hit the gym, you don't have the energy you used to. Maybe there's issues in the bedroom. Whatever your issue is, there shouldn't be embarrassment or shame. There should be results, and real results are waiting for you at the Man Zone. Check them out at manzone.com. Book your first appointment with Dr. Roy David. He's one of the most trusted professionals in San Diego doing these testosterone replacement therapies. He's my doctor. He should be your doctor too. Okay, coming up next, NFL went nuts this weekend. So did college football. The Aztecs got a huge win. We'll get back to all that on the other side. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch.
This update is presented by the Jim Betrell Real Estate Team. We will begin here with college football, where there was 2 really good college football playoff games last night. Washington beats Texas 37-31. Michael Penix Jr., 430 yards passing, 2 touchdowns through the air. Michigan taking down Alabama in overtime. Final score 27-20. Michigan and Washington will be your national championship. College hoops, Aztecs got a huge win Friday night against Gonzaga, 84-74. They got Fresno State tomorrow night at Viejas Arena as conference play opens up. We got a pair of tickets to that game coming up on the show today. And in the NFL, the final week of the regular season approaching, 5 playoff spots left up in the air for the final week of the season. Would you like to know what your home would sell for today? Get a simple text message with your home's value by texting your address to 855-600-6000. You'll get no phone call, just a text. Jim Betrell has the buyers. Simply text your address to 855-600-6000.
Yeah! Woo! Happy New Year to those who celebrate Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you on January 2nd of 2024. Happy Tuesday to all. We are roaring out the gates in the new year. We have a ton planned for this upcoming year. The show has never been stronger. We've never been stronger. I mean, we've lost a ton of weight heading down the path of 2023. Right. We're starting to consider exercising in 2024. We may actually lift weights.
We didn't talk about this.
What? Wait, what?
Or do push-ups.
What are you even saying right now?
I'm lightheaded. I don't even know.
We are a virus again.
Say it again.
Oh, yeah.
On Instagram, we're a virus once again.
We went viral.
How many views is that up to?
Over 1.5 million.
Oh, right. I like that.
Yeah. All you have to do is just simply screen record NFL games and then say something like, huh? Or what? And then all of a sudden it goes mega viral. Apparently that's all you need to do.
That's the source.
So Big Rich TD Fletch on Instagram, on TikTok, on X, if you want to follow us there. Also the free iHeartRadio app. If that's the way you already listen to us, share with a friend. If you haven't downloaded the free iHeartRadio app yet, download it. It's the best way to listen to the show.
Your hair at least a 16th of an inch now.
Yeah, look at this. It's growing fast.
It is growing fast.
And it's the right color.
It's all the testosterone. I can feel it flowing through my body. Thank you, Dr. Roy David. Thank you. Look at me.
Wow.
I'm a man.
Wow. Does Annie like it super short like this?
Absolutely not.
Okay. All right.
Shit, so
not even when it gets fuzzy.
I got the haircut on the day after Christmas, and every time she looks at me, she either laughs or she gives me that disappointed parent look.
Good.
Or there's sometimes that visceral, like, my mouth is watering. I can't look at you. So yeah, it's been a mixed bag of emotions at the Hornberger household.
I get it.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah, it hasn't been the best week for Annie. But let's kick off the new year right. Let's dive right into this. Something that we instituted in 2023, we carry over into 2024. It is our morning monologues, and I am currently stalling for Ben Fletcher, who, for whatever reason, his show is a surprise to him every single morning.
He's ready to go. Oh wait, no, he's typing. I thought he gave the nod.
Everything was stuck in 2023.
Yep. Should we update that copy at all?
Wait, no, we're going to keep it right there.
I like it.
Even on Mondays, it doesn't matter.
Okay, good.
Because we're doing a radio broadcast even in our heads.
That's
over the weekend.
So I have a morning monologue regardless if I'm here or not.
All right, Fletch, why don't you lead us off? Because I'm really stumbling out of the gates in 2024.
Okay. I don't appreciate that. I get stuck on 2023. I'm sorry. Tomorrow will be better. I promise. I do want to take my morning monologue, and I could have gone a couple different ways with this. I could have gone to San Diego State not being in the top 25, which is stupid and ridiculous. But I was really moved last night watching college football and actually enjoying college football for college football. It wasn't NIL. It wasn't transfer portal. It wasn't head coaches getting caught for cheating, which, by the way, now Ryan Day is in trouble too. Great college football. Last night was 2 back-to-back college football games that was actually intense, awesome on-field gamesmanship. And I thought both teams played, or all 4 teams played excellent football. I thought Michael Penix Jr. is a revelation. I wonder how much his draft stock went up after last night.
Huge.
And I appreciated the fact that we were watching football for football's sake and we weren't watching college football for the bad stuff, the drama. And so good for you, college football. You got it right with these 4.
All right.
Yeah.
So I thought it was very, very respectable that you took the high road and you didn't complain about the Aztecs and you stayed on college football, and it was a positive headline heading into the new year. So I will take the low road.
Take it.
The Aztecs belong in the top 25. And yes, I understand. You're going to hear this echoing throughout Fowler Athletic Center and the Jam Center over there on campus. It does not matter that we're unranked. It gives us fuel heading into our conference schedule. We have one mission, and now it's to win the Mountain West. And I get that. And Coach Dutcher, congratulations for your maturity, but I am immature. It is my job to take the low road, so I shall. These voters are idiots. Okay, they got it wrong. It's slanderous what's been happening to this athletic program overall, but this basketball program since the Steve Fisher years began here on the Mesa. It is egregious. It feels like someone should lose their job, or multiple people should lose their job over the fact that the Aztecs are left out of the top 25. And why is it that important to me as a fan? Well, because of recruiting, because of transfer portal. Like, this is how you build a program now. Because if you're a top 25 team, guess what donors do? Wealthy alumni who care about this program also. They go, hey, why golly gee jeepers, we're in the top 25 again. Hey, Peg, get my checkbook. Dutch is doing a good job with the gang. Let's write him another check. That's how this works.
Thank you.
That's how this works.
Thank you.
It is 2024. We can stay up later. We can actually watch the games and stop lying to ourselves. Holy Jesus, how is Gonzaga still ranked ahead of the Aztecs? It doesn't make sense.
Somebody had to say it.
Somebody
had to say it. Somebody had to say it.
Upset.
Rich had to do it. Rich had to do it. Look, I'm also fired up over what happened this weekend.
Go ahead.
Okay?
Go ahead.
Not Aztecs.
Okay.
This is football bowl related, okay?
Okay.
Specifically, the Citrus Bowl. Okay?
I like this little copy point you threw in our rundown here.
It's some bowl S is what it is, okay? Look, we got to get it together on these bowl name sponsors, because the Cheez-Its Citrus Bowl doesn't work for me, okay? And I do love me some Cheez-Its. Also, I do love Ched Z, the non-edible Cheez-It mascot. I don't know if you saw him come out of the Cheez-It box out on the 50-yard line. It was like Michael Jackson at the Super Bowl. There was a lot of good stuff there. However, Cheez-Its and citrus, they don't pair, okay? They don't pair. They don't work for me. Therefore, Citrus Bowl, I feel like there should be some NCAA rules that would dictate who can be your title sponsor. Cheez-Its shouldn't be allowed here with the Citrus Bowl. Here are some acceptable sponsors for the Citrus Bowl.
Okay, I'm all ears.
Sunkist.
That makes sense.
Okay.
That's like right at the top of the list.
Right. Minute Maid.
Love it.
Okay. Donald Duck Orange Juice. Right?
Yes.
I would even accept Sunny D.
Sunny D works.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. In fact, Betty Crocker Fruit Gushers Citrus Bowl actually works better for me.
How about Dole?
Dole.
The Dole Citrus Bowl?
The Dole Citrus Bowl works just fine. How about non-red Starburst Citrus Bowl?
We're getting a little abstract.
Listen, all I'm saying is Cheez-Its, I love you. But Citrus Bowl? That's some bullshit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that is some bull sugar.
Thank you.
That you know what? Strong take.
I like it.
Always.
Well, look,
How about the fact that like the biggest thing coming out of bowl season this year are the 2 mascots, the Pop-Tart and then the Ched. What was his name?
Ched Z.
Ched Z, yeah.
Both were fantastic.
Dude, the Pop-Tart, it came out cooked.
Yeah.
I put
Now
it came
just
out of
people like
the giant fake toaster.
so everybody tries to cancel everything, right?
Brilliant.
There were different activist groups being mad because the Cheez-It looked so excited, or not the Cheez-It, the Pop-Tart looked so excited to commit suicide.
Oh,
And
God.
like people actually got upset about that. I'm like, it's a fun
Okay,
thing. Just let it be fun.
Good Lord.
Wow. I mean, well, listen, I don't know if that's necessarily. I mean, anytime you what is the word? It's anthropomorphize or whatever it is.
What the word? Yes, when you make it a person,
You take an animal and you put human traits in the animal is basically the word.
right? Or an inanimate object.
Let's look up that word. That's such a fun word to say, and I don't know how to.
Anthropomorphic.
I don't even know where to start.
Anonymity.
I think we all get it.
Yeah, we got it.
Anyways, the point is, I like it. Like I like it
Oh,
when
I'm
you
in.
take a Cheez-It and you make it like us. I like it when you take a Pop-Tart and you make it more human.
1,000,000%.
I have no problem if a Pop-Tart is going to sacrifice its life for my enjoyment. I don't care. I just
Now it didn't look all that appetizing. Like, did you guys see when they were starting to take it and eat it? It didn't look great.
I mean,
that's not really what it's about.
yeah,
I'm not there for that.
Also, some of these bowls, they're all catching up with each other. So, like, eggnog was poured on Lincoln Riley when they beat Louisville. USC beat Louisville in the Holiday Bowl. The Duke's Mayo Bowl.
That was a lot of mayonnaise.
Mountaineers head coach got a bath, a mayo bath. Like, so
There's still mayo on him.
I like it.
What,
I
was
think-
there Cheez-Its that were dumped?
You actually don't know, but I'm sure so many Cheez-Its. Dude, I like the hot and spicy. I'm not sure if they call it that, but the ones that are
They
flavored
got the
with
Tabasco.
Tabasco. Yeah.
I like it when you finish the bag of Cheez-Its and you have the crumbs and salt right at the bottom.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
All right,
the
nobody-
Cheez-It leave 'em.
Nobody talk because otherwise my computer will hear our voices. But hang on, we're gonna play this word.
Anthropomorphize.
There it is.
Anthropomorphize.
That's the word I was looking for. That is a really difficult one to
That
say.
is a difficult one.
Anyways,
yeah.
guys, we solved it all.
Gosh, I feel better.
Want to transition back to this college football day that we had yesterday. Rose Bowl. We saw Washington and Texas in the Sugar Bowl. So what would you guys legislate as the better game? What did you have a better time watching?
Alabama, Michigan, because it came down to the last second.
Yep.
Although Michael Penix Jr., I could watch him play football all day.
Yeah, he's awesome.
The way he throws, it's a frozen rope every single time. Like, he has to be notching up on the speedometer or whatever when you're looking at how fast he throws the football, and he's fitting it into these zones that are just tiny. And so I'm like, Michael Penix Jr., after that game, I was more impressed with him in that than I was in any Caleb Williams game this year. Like, weren't you?
Well,
Fletch, he is elite. He is going to make an NFL team very happy this upcoming season in the
You
draft.
might be able to get him like 8th or 9th.
TD, what about you? Better game, Texas, Washington, or that Rose Bowl between Michigan and Alabama?
I don't know how you bet against that Rose Bowl. I mean, look, any game that comes down to the last second, which, by the way, it wasn't like it was a terrible game until the end.
No.
So,
it's a good
yeah, I
game.
mean, it's a good watch from start to finish, which just happened to come down to the end. I don't know how you bet against that. That's a great game for me, a great watch. It was a great weekend of football.
Maybe it was because of my Big Ten ties, but I definitely felt more interested, or I shouldn't say interested, but more on the edge of my seat watching if Michigan was going to lose to Alabama. Plus, all the scandal that swirled around the college football world, especially regarding the Wolverines football program, Connor Stallions, having pictures taken him on the sideline of like Central Michigan, and then him resigning from his job, and then Jim Harbaugh and the coaching staff having to suspend him for the last 3 games of the regular season.
Alabama won't watch footage on their phones because of espionage.
Yeah, the Catapult app was corrupted or whatever the hell they were talking about leading up to this game. I mean, it really did have so much intrigue revolving around it. So I agree with you. I think that was the game that I had more invested in. And also Alabama was the team that knocked Florida State out of the college football playoff. So you look at Alabama and you say, okay, so Florida State plays Michigan instead of Alabama. What is that score like? Is it 27-20, folks? Or do the Seminoles get absolutely, because remember what happened in their bowl game against Georgia? They got the dog beat out of them.
Yeah, I would say that they get smoked.
But nobody played for Florida State. Like, we don't know. That wasn't really the same Florida State team.
Yeah, but Jordan Travis is still hurt. You can't bring his knee back together. You know what I mean?
You're still missing it. You're still missing a key component here to make it work. I mean, I understand what you're saying, Fletch. Not the same team, but you still feel like they would have got blown out here.
I think it was a much better game. Look, I hate saying this. I really do. I don't like saying this. I don't like honoring what I think is a ridiculous sham of a made-for-TV event. We have never had a true national championship in college football. I mean that. I mean, all the way through the years of the BCS and before that and up till now with this made-for-TV Final Four teams square off and play for this national title. There has been no national champ because this is no way to conduct a playoff. Having said that, though, if you're going to have a made-for-TV event, you want to make it the most entertaining matchup. And I do think they accomplished that.
And there were moments yesterday where you see it's like back and forth shots of Nick Saban and Jim Harbaugh where you're like, okay, well, these are the two best college football coaches in the country. That's the game you do want to see. I get all that, but I still feel bad for Florida State.
I do too.
And I still feel bad for every single one of the players. And it's not like when Jordan Travis got hurt, they lost every game after that. No, they won every game after that until this bowl game.
No, it's bogus. I mean, Florida State should be there. That's the end. Whether or not the game was going to be better or not, Florida State should be there if you want to keep the ranking system with some sort of integrity.
And guess what? You would have ended up with the same national championship you have now.
I guess that's true. Yeah, but you would have had a less compelling semifinal.
Maybe.
Well, maybe. I get what you're saying. The games have to be played in order to know how they're going to look. I get that. I completely agree with you. But most likely, we got the best and most compelling matchup in this round of the semifinals, or I should say, Michigan facing Alabama as opposed to Florida State in the 4 seed. But yeah, who really knows? One thing I do know is this, and I'm going to run this by both of you. So Florida State, did they get jobbed or did they get exactly what they wanted? And I'll explain it this way. So you get left out of the playoff picture, not good. You get left out of an opportunity to win a national championship, not good. But they get now to have a case and legitimately sue the conference and complain and try to flee. And maybe this is the impetus for them to boost their stature nationally, get a lot more attention around the program and a lot more steam behind them leaving their conference. Whereas before, okay, so say they make the playoff. Is their chief complaint leaving the regular season, we need to get out of the ACC? No. The ACC now has a playoff team. And also, if by chance they beat Michigan, they play for a national championship, they're going to win a championship or contend for a title and then say, yeah, but we need to get out of the ACC. It's going to be a lot harder of a road. They actually have a real case because they have the sympathy of the country on their side.
But now you almost wonder, well, do they want to leave now? Because going into next year, the ACC is probably going to have a spot allocated to them in the 12-team playoff.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So wouldn't you want to stay in the easier conference, quote unquote, so you could beat up on them and then get to the college football playoff and whatever seed you would get, whatever the ACC gets allocated?
But we know where this is heading. It's not about now. It's not about next year or even the year after next year. It's about where's this heading in a decade. Do you want to be one of the teams that got into the SEC like now, or do you want to be one of the late joiners who, when the major megabucks contracts come out, where there's only 2 conferences in major college football left, and it's the Big Ten and it's SEC. Do you want to be one of those late joiners, or do you want to be one of the legacy teams that may have won a title or contended for the playoffs every single year? Remember, also, they just got DJU from Oregon State.
Right.
Jordan Travis helped them recruit him into the Florida State program.
Big win for them.
Louis Longalele.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
You got it.
Well, switching back to the NFL, Lamar Jackson doing his best to put that MVP trophy on lock. His Ravens beat up the Dolphins 56-19. The road to the Super Bowl in the AFC will officially go through Baltimore with that win. In the battle for the NFC South, the Saints beat the Bucs 23-13. That win brings both the Saints and the Bucs to an even 8-8 record, while the Falcons sit 1 game back at 7-9 heading into Week 18. But all 3 teams fighting for the division. Bucs can take the South with a win or a Saints and Falcons loss. Saints can win the division with a win over the Falcons and a Bucs loss, and the Falcons win the division with a win over the Saints and Bucs losing. Chiefs beat the Bengals 25-17. They officially lock up the AFC West. The Eagles lose a shocker to the Cardinals 35-31. They now drop to a wild card spot, sitting at number 5. Steelers keep their playoff hopes alive with a 30-23 win over the Seahawks. Broncos beat the Chargers 16-9. but they've officially been eliminated from the playoffs. Niners beat the Commanders 27-10. They're trying to win out here so they can win the NFC. Rams sneak by the Giants 26-25. They're currently the 6th seed in the NFC, and the refs give the Cowboys a 1-point win over the Lions 20-19.
Anthropomorphize.
Also, blasphemy.
Wow.
Niners already have the 1 seed locked up.
Wow.
They do?
Yeah.
Oh, even if they they do?
Yeah, they do.
Oh, they do, because they got the tiebreaker.
How dare ye?
Sorry.
Yeah, C-Mac
Sorry.
can
Yeah,
rest.
if you're listening.
I mean, they could all
858
rest.
858 is back, by the way. Bald Rich looks like he says gosh darn it when he gets upset.
Golly gee gummit, dang man. Yeah, I really do. I look like somebody who doesn't have furniture. I just have coolers that no longer keep insulated or leak a lot. So I'm just like, man,
Your TV for sure sits on the ground.
or on top of my old TV.
Yeah, you don't have a box spring.
I feel like you look like a prospect for a biker gang.
Oh,
Like
good.
you're
Yeah.
trying to get your leathers.
I'm in a one patch club right now, but I'm looking to join the pagans.
3 patch.
I'm looking to.
Like, be a 1%er.
I want to be a 1%er. I look like a guy who's done jail time, but it's been for white collar stuff. But
Yeah.
I'm trying to go hard. Yeah. I look like such a goon.
Collar stuff.
Yeah, I got out of the can, and people are just like, "Wow, our new neighbor's got a lot of tattoos,
Right.
but they're all like 90s television show references."
He had a nice head of hair, but then got lice in prison.
Yeah. Why does across his belly it says it was cold, it's shrinkage instead of thug life?
It's written right over the top of mayhem.
You did a little bit of it, Rich, but 760 says, can you do your best Philip Rivers impression?
Oh, dadgummit. I mean, okay, well, if we got Gatesy open on the post, but we couldn't get there because backside pressure. Look, I mean, I get it, dadgummit. That's he was all over the place. It was always dadgum. Everything, it was punctuation, commas and periods and exclamation points were replaced with dadgum.
Well, boys, I got some big news.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going back on the diet.
He's on.
What was that?
I said he's on.
I'm on, baby. I've already had like 2 of my big Stanley cups full of water this morning. I'm drinking lots of water, and I'll be getting back on those like restricted diet meals and everything.
The reduction phase.
reduction phase,
you're
baby.
reducing.
I'm trying to get down in the 2 teens. So
The
I
two
got
teens.
down to the
Wow.
230s, which was a big deal for me. I hadn't been there since college. Now I want to get back down to the 2 teens, which I haven't been in since high school.
You want to lose 60 pounds here
That's
total?
what I'm going for.
SDFatloss.com.
And that's how I'm getting there. SDFatloss.com. Our friends Wayne and Chloe over
Sort of
there,
jingle.
when they came into our lives, they really changed all 3 of our lives for the better because they have the secret for quick weight loss and most importantly, lasting weight loss. We were all losing like 1.5 pounds to 2-3 pounds every single day.
And what it is you just cry a lot.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
But
You
y'all know
don't
the
have
starvation
to
diet
be
plans.
fat.
Do away with the latest fads. Remember, we tried all those fads. We went carnivore. We did keto. Guess what? None of them really worked.
No.
So get rid of those. SDFatloss.com. It's healthy weight loss using real whole foods and proprietary strategies to help your body become you once again. In addition to guiding people through their successful weight losses, they also build clients a roadmap to keep the weight off long term, which is what we've been on. And now I want to lose more.
I love it. I love it. Yep.
SDFatloss.com. Get your free consultation today.
He wants more.
No more yo-yo dieting.
Mm-mm.
No more up and down.
Just down.
Like noble Sherpas on Everest. Nepalese Sherpas guiding us up the mountains. Wayne and Chloe, our weight loss team, on the reduction phase once more. Wow.
Taking us to the
Incredible.
promised land.
Yep.
Hey, where does Jim Harbaugh go next?
We don't know.
We'll talk about it next. Where is Jim Harbaugh going to end up after this season? We'll talk about it next.
This update is presented by Duthie Power Services. Starting off with college football, a couple of really good college football games last night. Washington took down Texas 37-31. Michael Penix Jr., 430 yards passing and 2 passing touchdowns. Michigan took down Alabama in overtime at the Rose Bowl, 27-20 final score. College hoops, Aztecs got a huge win Friday night against Gonzaga, 84-74. In spite of that win and the Aztecs' 11-2 record heading into conference play, San Diego State remaining outside of the top 25 as they get ready for Fresno State tomorrow night at Viejas Arena. We got a pair of tickets to that game coming up on the show today. And in the NFL, final week of the regular season approaching, 5 playoff spots left as we hit week 18. Duthie Power Services, family owned for nearly 60 years, is California's generator expert for all your generator needs, commercial and industrial, including maintenance, rentals, purchase, and installation. For the largest fleet of generator rentals in Southern California, go to DuthiePower.com. That's DUTHIE Power.com.
Big Rich, and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760. Happy New Year. And you just heard Fletch say it, but we do have a pair of tickets to the Aztecs versus Fresno State tomorrow night. Viejas Arena, tip time, 7:30. Pregame coverage begins at 6:30. You can get tickets and info at goaztecs.com or just keep it locked in here. Keep listening because we are going to be telling you how to win those coming up very, very shortly.
Can I just add one more note to why it's stupid that San Diego State's not in the top 25?
Yeah, absolutely.
So over the weekend, Arizona, who is number 4 in the country, played against Stanford. Stanford had just lost to San Diego State. Do you know what Stanford did? They beat the number 4 team in the country. So San Diego State, with their strength of schedule, obviously going way up because it's a fluid thing. It's not a set in stone thing.
Right.
San Diego State beating Stanford should be getting them a lot more credit than it actually is because, I don't know, Stanford just beat the number 4 team in the country by 20 points.
Preach, brother.
It's just stupid.
Yeah, I agree. It is stupid, but I mean, I don't know. Is it is there a way they can just punch this in and let a computer dump out the numbers, or this has to be voted on by human beings?
Now, computers do punch in the numbers for the metrics that actually matter. For the metrics that matter, KenPom and net ranking, the San Diego State Aztecs are in fine position, and they always are because their defensive and offensive efficiencies are so high, and their record is so good, and their quad 1 record's really good this year. So when you look at all that, that's the stuff that matters when it comes to March Madness and ranking in the actual NCAA tournament. What matters to public relations and what matters to recruits and what matters to sponsors is the AP Top 25 poll, and that's the one they're not in.
Yeah, and that's a bummer. I mean, we talked about it last segment of, Rich in his monologue talking about how it hurts the recruitment aspect of this. And that does. I mean, that stings. And as Aztec fans, we should be angry. We should be angry. We should get pitchforks. We should.
Or we should just go to
March.
Viejas Arena and party tomorrow night with the Aztecs. So I'm
We
going to
should
say
do that
keep
as
listening
well.
for the next 7 minutes.
Go
and
to
you're going
Go
to get a pair of
Aztecs.
tickets.
GoAztecs.com. Next 7 minutes, you're going to get a pair of tickets.
7 minutes, we're giving away Aztecs tickets.
That's right. That's right.
Hell
Good
yeah,
Lord.
brother.
Sorry, I took a quick nap.
You
Well,
making coffee?
You were here when I said this, but to make you even more upset,
Yeah.
So Arizona lost to Stanford. Arizona, the 4th ranked team in the country, lost to Stanford, who I don't remember who just beat Stanford. San Diego State.
Yeah,
And
right.
Mm.
Yeah,
Mm.
so that should help them metrically. But weird. Did it? No. The answer is no, it didn't, because the jokers who are in charge of the AP polling screw it up every year for San Diego State. Not sure why. Maybe it's a personal vendetta. Maybe they don't like the colors.
Oh, but don't worry. Arizona only dropped 6 spots in the AP poll when that happened.
No problem. It's not a big deal at all.
From 4 to 10.
Wow, that's a bad loss. But nobody panic, right? Because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all, except for recruiting and transfer portal. You jerks.
Okay, by the way, FAU
Yeah.
with 2 really bad home losses on their schedule.
Oh, you
this
mean
year.
the Owls?
They're still in the top.
Yeah,
25.
of course.
You know, whenever FAU is said, I always think forced air unit.
That's
Well,
weird
that's,
because I think Lamont Butler.
it's because of your
hitting
time
the
as an
shot.
electrician.
I think never think of that's the first thing.
How many BTUs
Yeah.
are you blowing?
Out of that FAU.
You are a maniac. Yep. Jim Harbaugh. Okay. He is currently the Wolverines head coach. He's going to be coaching the national championship game against the Washington Huskies when college football returns for the finale. And then after that, is he going to be the Michigan head coach any longer? Is he going to jump ship to the NFL? What is the thoughts here, gentlemen?
I'm leaning on he does. I'm leaning on he does jump out of here. And I feel like I know last week we talked about this, and you may have a difference of opinion, but it just seems like the time is now. The time is right. I mean, you have a lot of people who are angry at you in college football. You have a lot of eyeballs on you. They want to make a spectacle of you, and they probably can't. However, you could probably cut a nice deal to say, see you later, when they slide you some cash on the back end, and then you go make money in the NFL.
So TD says, no, he's going to leave. What say you?
I get more confused every time I hear him talk because you hear Jim Harbaugh and he gets asked questions about like the Chargers job, for example, and he just ignores it entirely and just says something that he already had scripted and in the can. And that's fine. But every time you hear him talk, isn't there a little glisten in his eye? And maybe it's just me. That's like, I'm going to stay right here and they're going to try to get rid of me and I'm still going to win the national championship. And guess what? I'm coming back next year and I'm going to do it again.
Well, that gleam in his eye, that little that glint, that sparkle, what it is money. It's massive.
Yeah,
it's boatloads
exactly.
and wheelbarrows of money
Yeah.
that are being rolled to his door, Fletch, because that's exactly what this means. So you have a national title contender, potentially national championship on your hands as a head coach at a major program in the Big Ten, which is one of the major conferences in college football, getting billion-dollar deals with networks. Right. So this is the iron has never been hotter. This is the best time to strike. And he has a contract extension due to him from Michigan. And the reports are out that it's something like 10 years, $120 million. So what does he do? He goes out for leverage sake and he hires an NFL agent, Don Yee, Tom Brady's old agent, right? Or current agent, probably even still. And he hires him to represent him in all matters NFL. Right. That's what we're assuming. So all of the correspondence between NFL teams and Jim Harbaugh are going to go through Don Yee, who's a power agent and has been for years. So what is that going to do? It's either A, going to grease the skids for the biggest contract ever signed by an NFL head coach or the biggest contract ever signed by a college coach. That glint in his eye that you saw, Fletch, was money. It was cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. This guy is going to make so much money doing what he loves to do because he's a psychopath who loves football and loves coaching football. He's going to make tons of money doing it, more than maybe anybody ever has.
And I wonder if more stories come out this offseason. Like we got that Ryan Day one that trickled out, something with the catapult thing. That's the similar thing to what Connor Stallions and Jim Harbaugh are being accused of. So I wonder if Harbaugh knows that, well, more coaches are about to get this same treatment. I can still stay and just prove that I'm better than everyone at it. I'm leaning more towards now that he's staying at Michigan. And he's going to collect the paycheck.
I think the gleam in his eye is he's got him right where he wants him. And it doesn't matter which side you look at. He's got it locked in. So, yeah, it is money. But it's no matter what he wants to do, he could do right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, right now, I'm pretty sure the catapult things with Ohio State are just rumors. Like that, I don't know if anything has been substantiated. Just to be clear about this, it's just rumors. But what they do know is that this system that players use to watch practice film or watch game film of like opponents has been corrupted, and potentially there are schools, at least one other school, who've been potentially using this software to cheat. And we don't know yet who that other school is. There have been some rumors that it's Ryan Day and the Ohio State football program. So I'm sure all of this is going to be figured out and investigated, completely on the up and up. The NCAA would never lie to us. We're going to have all the facts presented as exactly as they find them. And football can continue being one of the cleanest sports in all of the land.
The allegedlys are important, but the quote was allegedly accessing Maryland's practice video database, which was on Catapult. So it's allegedly.
Yeah, it's all alleged right now. But look, that was my point. My initial point about Jim Harbaugh is I don't think he's going anywhere. I have the same feeling about Bill Belichick, because it's like, right, yeah, he could go somewhere, but where are you going to go where it's going to be better? Like for Bill Belichick, is he going to be able to go to another football program in the pros and completely take over the way he has in New England? I doubt it. I don't know if anybody's going to allow a coach who's got way more yesterday's log than tomorrow's completely take over a football program. Yeah. So I think he stays in New England. And same with Jim Harbaugh. He's set up. I mean, this is the golden goose. He's set up at his alma mater to make the most money of any college football coach has ever made in the history of the sport.
Right.
And you're telling me he's going to leap for the NFL?
Rich, you worked under Belichick. Do the records matter to him? Like most wins ever. Okay. So he wants to hang on. It's not like he's going to walk away from this.
He's a historian.
Right.
He's a football historian. Before he's anything, he's like an absolute football nerd. He loves football. He had NFL Films, my rookie year, tape our entire season. They were in the building like multiple times that year, and nobody knew why until after the season was over. We're like, oh, wow, that was all Bill's doing. That was like following our team for the year. It was like the football life, Bill Belichick, because he appreciates what they do, cataloging the game for posterity. Right. It's important to him. And so, yeah, I think he hangs in as long as he possibly can to gain as many wins as he can.
But if he wants to be the most winningest coach ever, does he stay in New England?
Yes, and well, they need a quarterback.
That's what I'm saying. They got to make an overhaul here.
Michael Penix Jr. at 5.
Dude, yeah. Can you imagine Penix Jr. as a Billy O'Brien in that offense? Maybe if they they haven't really drafted receivers well there. Maybe they trade for a receiver. I don't know. I mean, the possibilities are endless. Okay, coming up next, a starting quarterback benched. We'll explain what that means on the other side. But first, I want to talk to you about Golden Triangle Plastic Surgery, the Man Zone, Dr. Roy David. Now, I'm putting together what sounds like a word salad. This will all make sense in a second. So, Dr. Roy David is a board-certified plastic surgeon, a real doctor. The Man Zone at Golden Triangle Plastic Surgery is the place that I go or went to get my testosterone numbers checked, and I found out that I was on the low average scale. Or I should say side of the scale. So it goes from a range, right? 300 to 1,000. If your testosterone falls in that range, you're average for your age at 37, right? But I was on the low end of average. I didn't want to be on the low end of average. I wanted to start feeling better. I wanted to start improving in every facet of my life, from energy to my effort in the gym, playing with the kids. I mean, everything is tied to your hormones. So as a result, I went and I talked to Dr. Roy David, who is, like I mentioned, a board-certified plastic surgeon, a real doctor who gave me my initial testosterone tests. He found out that I was on that low average side of the scale, and then we boosted it up. And since then, I've felt wonderful. This is truly a life-changing medical effort. And if you're like me, you're reaching your late 30s or you're into your 40s, maybe you're in your 50s or 60s, and you're just not waking up feeling like you anymore, it's time for a change. And the new year is the perfect time to do this, right? It's January 2nd. Get out to Golden Triangle Plastic Surgery or go to manzone.com, set your first appointment. It's super easy. It's a quick test. They give you your results. If you're a candidate, you go in there once a month, you pick up your supply. You can either do it at home or they can do it for you. And it is truly the easiest thing I do. It's a once a week commitment. It takes seconds, and then I feel better for the rest of the month. So again, manzone.com. If you want to start feeling better in the new year, Golden Triangle Plastic Surgery, Dr. Roy David, get your testosterone checked today. We completely forgot. We have to give away Aztecs tickets.
New year, new us.
We promised we will deliver. We got a pair of tickets to see the Aztecs take on Fresno State tomorrow night, Viejas Arena. Tip time 7:30. Our pregame coverage starts at 6:30. Tickets and info, go Aztecs.com. But right now, caller number 5. Caller number 5. You're going to win the Aztecs tickets at 877-767-4760. That's 877-767-4760. Best number in the world. Call now. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. Wow, what a successful ticket giveaway that was. Wow, we did it again,
We did it.
folks.
Man,
2024.
we are so much better now.
We are way on top of our game. You could argue we're up on game. Been hearing that term used a lot more.
Up on
recently.
game?
I stand on business.
Yeah.
And I'm up on game.
Is it up on game LeVar's weekend show?
Yeah, but people are using it now in the common vernacular, and I've never heard it used before. Maybe it's just because I work with the Fox Sports radio guys, and and it's an inside joke, maybe. But I'm starting to hear like more people use it in common speech.
Is up on game and stand on business the same?
I don't know. See, this is the problem. I feel like you have to be a cryptographer sometimes to understand lingo, and I just don't have it down yet.
Up on game.
We're
But
cool. We're hip.
Dude, I do stand on business though, and you guys have always said that about me.
Always.
Thank you.
When someone has no idea you are anywhere near and you pull up in their face to see if they are lying and show you that you are, I don't know. I don't even know what this description means.
Yeah. See,
So,
sometimes the answer is hidden in the question.
okay. All right.
Like, how about this question?
Wait, hold on. This one says to try harder and improve the quality of what you are doing.
Oh, dog.
that's up your game.
I
No.
oh damn
No,
it.
we already know what that
I
means.
was gonna say, then I am up on game. I'm not. I still have like Christmas lights to take down.
Mine are done,
I
man.
have a tree still in the living room.
There's no sign of Christmas at my house.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I have so much work to do when I get home today. I mean, I'm going to be here for a long time. I'm going to be very quote unquote busy after work. Got a lot to post to social media, honey. Not gonna make it.
Gonna be filming for hours.
BT Dubs, it's a garbage day, so you better haul all the trash to the curb. Forgot to do that last night.
Hashtag up on game.
Hashtag stand on business. Hashtag I stand on business.
The Steelers standing on business.
Oh boy.
Well, sorta. I guess they just low-key benched their starting QB.
No bigs.
Yeah.
So Mason Rudolph all of a sudden is just like the guy now.
Right.
And everybody in Pittsburgh is like, yeah, no, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
We're good with that.
Kenny Pickett apparently healthy enough to play, but Mike Tomlin talked about it here.
Okay, so listen, two things. We'll get to the actual content of what he was saying, but the cadence of what he's saying, every time I hear Mike Tomlin, I've never shared this with you guys, I am reminded of Will Ferrell's portrayal in Talladega Nights. It is identical. The cadence, like,
Right.
I'm just a big American winning machine. I wake up in the morning and I piss excellence. Kenny Pickett is healthy. He will be a scratch.
If there were the roar of cars behind him and he had to speak louder, so he could talk like this over the cars. I mean, you talk just like him, man.
I want to thank all my sponsors, starting with Mountain Dew. If it weren't for you, I don't know if I'd be able to fuel this excellence. Also,
And I do love Fig Newtons.
Yeah.
One of huge,
You don't chew Big Red.
huge thank you to Kenny Pickett for making this decision extremely easy for the organization by sucking out loud for majority of the season.
Yeah, Kenny
So
Pickett,
that's-
I mean, he just sucks.
When you look at the content of what he's saying, but Kenny Pickett's still available. So is he expecting Mason Rudolph to go in there and stink it up and have to go to Kenny Pickett? Is he trying to build some more faith with Kenny Pickett with the fan? I don't get this. Because if you're
Man.
saying Kenny Pickett's plenty capable, then Kenny Pickett should be starting. It sounds like you're trying to hide him.
Yeah.
He's doing what the Denver Broncos should have done. He's doing the thing where he's keeping his starting quarterback, starting quote unquote, healthy, but benching him just in case they can trade him. So they will in the offseason if they can trade him. If there's any teams out there who are looking for, Kenny Pickett or, in the case of Denver or Russell Wilson, or they're going to cut him because Kenny Pickett is not a starting quarterback at this level and certainly cannot foot the bill in Pittsburgh. Mason Rudolph has been steady as a performer the past couple weeks.
Yeah, but Kenny Pickett got a big win over Baltimore the last time they played. Now,
True.
I think Baltimore has been increasingly better as the season's gone on, so it's probably not the same Baltimore team that you're going to run up against. Also, I mean, are Baltimore playing for anything at this point?
I also want to go back to that game and look at his game log, because I don't remember a single game this season where I was like, man, oh man,
Oh, no.
Kenny Pickett took over that game.
No.
Like I've never left a game like watching the Pittsburgh Steelers this year and going like the way I have been like apoplectic about Joe Flacco. Like, oh my God. I mean, somebody fan me. I'm about to faint. Joe Flacco for president.
Right.
Like
So it was a 17-10 win for the Steelers. It was
Okay.
in Pittsburgh. Kenny Pickett was 18 of 32 for 224 yards and a touchdown. Lamar Jackson was 22 of 38 for 236 yards and an interception.
oh my gosh.
But I want to say, was that the one TJ Watt went absolutely bonkers?
Yeah, I feel like it was.
because he had a game this year where TJ Watt took over and won the whole thing.
Yeah.
And
But-
Mason Rudolph, is he a starting quarterback in this league? Probably not. However, on the Pittsburgh side of things, he's kind of been a spark here because he's setting up these longer passes. He's willing to throw the thing down the field. Kenny Pickett has been a bit of a joke.
He's just meh. He's just He's just like he's mid. He's like a very mid.
Look at you, all these
Well, me,
hipster terms.
dude, I stand on business. Look, he's very mid.
Okay, that was the game.
And I am
The-
up on game.
The
Thank you.
Steelers were able to get a safety on Baltimore. And this was a defensive, like,
Oh yeah,
100 yard.
Kenny
100
Pickett sacked
yeah.
3 times in the game. He just played a slightly cleaner game.
It just
than
had
Baltimore.
the George Pickens 41-yard touchdown pass down the sideline when we were all going crazy about George Pickens because it was a ridiculous catch.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I do remember that.
Mhm.
I do remember that. Okay, coming up next, as we continue our first show of the new year, we're going to get back to college football. We're going to hit 4 corners with the best stories from around the map that you haven't heard yet today. Also, we're going to be joined by Dr. David Chow. A couple injuries, college football that could impact the national championship game, and who's going to be healthy for the final games of the NFL season. We'll check in with our doctor as we do every Tuesday right here on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch.
It's hour 3 on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. This update presented by Progressive Insurance. Starting off with college football, we got a couple really good playoff games last night. Washington beat Texas 37-31. Michael Penix Jr., 430 yards passing, 2 touchdowns through the air. Michigan taking down Alabama in overtime at the Rose Bowl, 27-20 final score there. In college hoops, Aztecs got a huge win Friday night against Gonzaga, 84-74. They'll have Fresno State tomorrow night at Viejas Arena. And in the NFL, as the final week of the regular season approaches, 5 playoff spots left for a bunch of teams still competing for them. Looking for a career you'll love with flexible, great pay and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces? Join the growing team at Progressive Insurance. Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today.
Happy New Year to those who celebrate Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you. 2024 edition of Big Rich, TD, and Fletch.
Woo!
Wow, we made it, boys.
It's crazy.
It
It
is.
is actually crazy. It's already 2024.
Well, we got smashed together. I mean, truly smashed together from corners of this iHeart San Diego radio cluster
right.
On a lark in 2022, end of 2022 in September. And we celebrated our first anniversary last September in 2023, obviously. And then we've gotten to now have our first full year as a radio show together. And look, this thing is gaining steam and a lot of traction, a lot of attention on social media around this building, but also nationally inside the iHeartRadio conglomerate, whatever you want to call it.
Look at us.
And it's all thanks to our listeners. And
Right.
we're truly grateful for anybody who's listening on the iHeartRadio app. Anybody, any way you listen to this show, we appreciate it. But especially if you download the free iHeartRadio app, because you could share it with friends. And that's the way this thing has gone. Like, it's just been word of mouth, people sharing the link with it, and it's exploded. Again, we're just incredibly grateful, and we're aware that we don't have this opportunity to do what we do if it weren't for the hangers, the bangers, the roadies, the dogs, the texters, the tweeters, the commenters, the repliers, the people who listen to this program. We truly are in your debt.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better. Nicely done. Well, Happy New Year, everybody.
Cool. It's been cool. It's been very cool. Okay, Four Corners coming up in just a little bit. Sorry. I know you're very excited. You were ready.
You were
You guys embarrassed me in the second
You
hour.
were ready to go.
Fletch is ready for Four Corners, just so you're aware.
Is that
God,
our
once we
normal?
actually get to 4 quarters, I'm gonna
Is that our normal 4 quarters bed?
funky instrumental, baby.
Hashtag royalty free.
Hashtag stand on business. Hashtag I stand on business. Okay. Holy God.
Oh, so before we get to 4 quarters, what?
Well,
Geez.
That's what's next.
Okay, yes,
There was nothing
I
after
know.
that.
I know. All I wanted to ask simply 2 questions. One, do we have any more tickets to give away to Aztecs, Fresno State tomorrow night?
Darren Smith will have a pair today. John and Jim will have 2 pairs
Okay.
today. We will have 2 pairs tomorrow morning.
Okay, so
Okay,
keep it
all right.
glued
Ooh.
to San Diego Sports 760 throughout the broadcast day, but especially tomorrow morning. We have 2 tickets to give away tomorrow, 2 pairs of tickets to
Look
give
at
away
that.
tomorrow morning.
Look
So
at that.
little forward promotion there. I apologize, Fletch. Also, Doc David Chow coming up in just a little bit. We're talking about injuries around college football, around the NBA, around the NFL. A lot of things happening there. Get your betting in with Dr. David Chow. Injury Central. And without further ado, a little funky instrumental.
Oh, come on. You didn't sit on your head.
4 quarters. Okay. Fletch, you seem anxious. Do you want to lead us up? You need to handle it.
It does feel like the same music. Are we sure?
New year, new
Wow.
and I'm up on game. Look,
I'm up on game. But these are the stories you didn't know, you needed to know. We traveled the globe. We found the 4 corners of the earth to bring you all these stories. And number 1, fish and chips apparently on the endangered species list out in the UK.
What?
Yeah.
Why though? We get fish and
Supply
chips
chain issues?
Fish and chips is at every restaurant in San Diego.
Hang on a second. Are they lacking potato or fish supply?
Oh,
What?
yeah, I don't know. I don't get it. That's what they're saying. Yeah, I don't know. They're saying that there are supply chain issues out in the UK, which is causing fish and chips to be scratched from the menu. I mean, that's basically like McDonald's not selling hamburgers out here, right?
Yeah, that's never going to happen because even if beef isn't available, you know they're going to find something like beef to serve.
So it is supply chain with fish, and it's becoming so expensive that they're having to scratch it from the menu because fish and chips is supposed to be cheap.
I will say, like when you go to San Diego restaurants, it's usually around $17. That's the going rate for fish and chips. I pay it every time. I love fish and chips.
Yeah, have you ever been to Long John?
Yeah.
I mean, you can get it for
That's
like
Silver's?
$7.
Dude, did Long John Silver's go out of business?
No,
They're
still
open.
around. But there's no like standalone. They're always like the combo with KFC.
Yes. I've never been to a Long John Silver's that hasn't been a part of another fast food chain.
You could have ended that sentence early. I've never been to Long John Silver.
What? Come on, it's greasy. It'll lower your self-esteem. Not good for FC fat loss.
You know what raised your self-esteem?
What's that?
Well, if you were a 13-year-old boy and you were watching ESPN last night,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
as the B-roll camera went over Bourbon Street,
Just before you go any further, a 44-year-old boy, and this was still fun.
Yeah.
well, the B-roll stood for booby roll because you were able to catch a glimpse as the drone shot or the little swinging camera they have went over Bourbon Street. One lady did not have her shirt on, or had her shirt on, and then took it down at the last moment.
Dude, I absolutely love the energy in New Orleans. I've only been there a couple of times to play football. The Saints and things like that. When I would go down there, I would always try to get to Bourbon Street, and nothing was ever going on when I was there because it was like middle of the day, just like walking, like avoiding stepping in piles of vomit from the night before. That's basically
Wonderful.
Yeah. But like would always try to have like a po' boy sandwich or something like that to like catch the vibe a little bit. But last night, Sugar Bowl, ESPN broadcast cameras, live. Oh yeah, we saw full frontal nipple. Yep, it happened. Gosh, America is great, isn't it?
On ESPN, owned by Disney.
To be really honest for a second, like unexpected boob is some of the best boob.
Dude,
Does that make sense?
No, it absolutely does. Like if you're at like a kid's school play and all of a sudden like a mom has her halter top pulled down by a baby in her arms, like you're like, whoa, unexpected boobs. That just happened. That's cool.
2024.
You know what I mean?
The unexpected boob. Cheers.
That's what 2024 is?
Hey.
All right.
This so far.
There we go. Yeah. Okay. Cheers.
The unexpected boobs. Did you guys know that people are using Google Street View to check out paranormal? I almost said pornormal.
They might be as well.
That is a great parody.
Yeah.
That you should give the production.
Paranormal hotspots are now being street viewed to see if ghosts are hanging out. I think this is brilliant.
So I wasn't going to bring this up today, but I'm pretty sure I saw a ghost on the drive-in this morning. Not even kidding.
What?
Like I was driving in, the exit from the 15 on the arrow.
Could you stop the funky instrumental and really like lean into the story?
Yeah.
So you're convinced you saw a ghost.
I don't know what I saw. Something happened this morning on my drive-in.
Was
So
it foggy?
it wasn't that foggy. At least the rest of the drive wasn't. And then as I'm exiting onto Arrow from the 15, that little exit you make the left turn onto Arrow.
Are you coming down south?
No, I am further south than we are. So I'm going 15 north,
15 north.
up onto Arrow.
Make that right onto Arrow Drive.
To the left.
Left. Oh yeah.
Left onto Arrow Drive. As I'm about to get into the left turn lane, there wasn't fog, then there was fog, then there wasn't fog. And I don't know what it was, but it felt spooky to me.
So was the apparition you saw just like a
It took up the width of one car lane,
interesting,
and it was not there, not there.
like a ghost car?
So you
Go something.
well this on Google Street View was out in New Hampshire. It's near a cemetery, which is this paranormal hotspot, the Gilson Cemetery. And if you're looking on Street View, which I'll show you here, Rich, as this thing swings around, at one point, somebody sees a glimpse of a person that's just looks like an apparition. So it's definitely a face there. I mean, it could be the reflection in the glass. I mean, could be explained, but there's a person wearing a black shirt.
100%. That is the image of a body of some sort.
Yeah.
Wow, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you, like all these recent sightings.
Not to mention us beating Travis Hill, who has had legit ghosting challenges.
Oh, yeah. They've lived
Um,
up there.
have
George
you
and Barbara, not the president
no,
and first lady.
no.
You know what? Have you seen the new trend on TikTok? It'll be like either two guys walking together or a guy and a girl walking together, and whatever. Someone says, "Hang on, George is calling me. George is calling me real quick." And the other person's like, "Who the hell is George?" He said, "George Bush." Pushes it in the bush.
Delightful.
I wanted to do
Delightful
it to one
game.
of you guys, and I ruined it.
Is that like the new Slug Club?
Yeah,
Okay.
like punch buggy.
Gotcha.
So check out this headline. This could mean ruin for a lot of our marriages, but cougars, per studies, are apparently happier and having better sex than women with men of the same age.
All right. So our wives are going to be very unhappy with us, is
So-
what you're saying. And Flesh, you could be making a lot of women very happy on grannyzone.com.
Yeah, by the way, you would be going by the title Toy Boy. So if you're a cougar,
I know
the-
somebody named Toy Boy.
yeah,
Is that where you gotta say?
I'm pretty sure.
Wait, his name is Toy Boy?
Yeah,
Isn't that Jesse's name?
Jesse's nickname.
Oh, it's Toy Boy.
Toy Boy Lozano.
That's
for a long
right.
time.
That's right.
And I think it's maybe because he was being picked off by.
Can we call him and ask him?
We should ask him how
We
he got
should,
that name.
we should call their hotline and get him on the phone.
And merge shows. Yeah, I completely agree with that. So apparently, cougars dating toy boys are happier and more sexually satisfied than than women who are in relationships with men their own age. This surprising new study has found.
Surprising new study.
Psychology professors from London Metropolitan University. Oh, yeah, the famed LMU. Everybody knows that one. Included 24 women. So a wide swath, huge sample for their research, and they published this in the Journal of Sexual and Relationship Therapy. So the study found that cougars scored higher in 3 different survey categories, seemingly to refute the stereotype that the age gap relationships are emotionally vapid and fueled only by physical desire. So they're even more fulfilled from an emotional level. Listen, this is baloney.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't bode well for our relationship.
No, it doesn't. So when you're watching your wife lustfully glance out the window at the gardener, or the pool boy,
she'd be much happier with him.
What this study shows of 24 women shows is that these toy boys are invading our relationships and our homes and wrecking our marriages. Speaking of cougars and toy boys,
You guys see Martha Stewart's latest selfie?
Yeah.
Martha knows how.
82 years old.
I'll tell you right now. Martha stand on game. Oh, damn it. She's up on business. Martha stand on business.
Yeah. Wait, she's up on game?
Up on game.
Up on game and she stands on business. Martha Stewart knows how to make like the thirst trap facial expressions. She really gets it. I mean, she really
That'd be the word I would use.
That's a good one. Do you think she spends a lot of time practicing in front of the mirror?
Wait, let me see.
Travis, give us look at directly at the camera. Give us your best lustful face.
Like the Martha Stewart
Yeah,
lustful?
that's the one.
The problem is I forgot my camera, so it's a very poor angle. The Martha Stewart lustful face is like this, like.
Oh wow, yeah. Rich yelling at
Yeah.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's holding her camera, which by the way, I mean she is one rope away from this being like, hey,
Bourbon Street.
yeah. Just gotta like, I gotta hit the John for like 15. Nobody
That long?
Nobody bug me. Well, I want to build like a whole. Okay, hang on.
Yeah.
Let me put on my StreamYard now. I'll try to.
Tried to.
capture it. Hang
Okay.
on. She's like this. Like,
So perfect.
Not bad.
You're nailing it.
like she's
You are
got-
nailing it.
because you gotta like throw that one
Oh
shoulder
yeah, she
forward.
does do a
She kind of does a little turn
little
because
twisty
she's also
turn.
trying to show you her 82-year-old cleavage, which is not bad. Don't really
1, 2, 3 wood.
would okay, and
Yeah.
then there you have it.
There it is.
So that's 4 corners.
Yeah,
We do it
There's one story we all glossed
every
over.
Tuesday.
which was it?
Is
The
it because we
size?
were nervous?
Was it Panthers owner David Tepper throws a drink at Jaguar fans
No.
or doctors?
Yeah, that doctor revealing.
Listen,
Are we skipping that one on purpose?
Hang on,
I
where
don't
is
think so. It's number 2.
Okay, no, number
Wait, where-
3. Oh,
Oh,
there we
there
go.
it is.
What? Yeah. No, we can do this. Okay, no, this is
Can we?
fine.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I just don't want to feel bad.
Dude, this is from
you're not gonna feel bad, I don't think.
this is from a reputable doctor, and this is from a reputable place, dailymailco.uk.net. So a doctor has revealed what average size of the penis, and it's a lot smaller than people think.
Right.
What's the size?
So, when it's like not engaged,
Go ahead.
3.61 inches. Okay. Okay.
Hey.
And when it's ready to go, 5.17. So come on.
Hang on a second.
Hold on.
So let's just
Stand up business.
let's just all of a sudden delete me from married man status and throw me in toy boy status. Maybe all of a sudden I'm going to be one of those hot singles in your area that we see advertised to us constantly. Once you reach the age of 30, all of a sudden all the internet wants to tell me about is all the hot singles in my area.
I think
That's
it might
true.
have something to do with your algorithm as well.
Dude,
Are we
my
doing
algor-
swipes to a butt?
Okay, yeah, we
We got
probably
time
do
for
it.
one.
Yeah,
we got time for one.
we got time for one.
It's been a
Okay.
very pervy segment.
Let me clear out TikTok. We'll
Okay.
open it up
For anybody who wants to play at home, what we do on this show is we open up TikTok on our own accounts and we see who's the creepiest by playing a game we like to call How Many Swipes to a Butt.
Mhm.
It's very
Mhm.
simple. You just open the app
Two
and
Wow,
you see,
really?
you see how many swipes to a butt.
Christmas butts.
Yeah. Yeah, you nailed it. All right, so 2, let's see. I'm opening the app.
I think this is a commercial for Peloton,
Well, turn it down.
but no, it wasn't
Okay.
me. It wasn't me.
Sorry, that was me.
Yeah, oh, I don't just put my
Okay.
deodorant.
This lady
Um,
is looking at retinol creams. That's not it.
Yeah.
That's a live of people. Oh yeah, this is totally gonna be
Oh,
butts.
yeah. This is, but I think it's an ad. But it's fine. That was like 15, by the
Ads
way.
have started sneaking into butt space.
Dude,
Yeah, well, they have to. Yeah, but you know what? This isn't like a new ad. Well, I haven't seen this, but the TikTok leggings trend.
oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
that's old hat.
So my algorithm. So 3. By the way, 3 swipes to a butt for me. What about
it was
you?
like it was
Yeah.
like 15.
Okay.
15
I was at
plus.
2, so I win.
Yeah.
Ben's the creepiest today. We nailed it.
Well, let's see. We could start with the Aztecs basketball team getting totally disrespected. We could start with college football, which was really great last night, or we could start here. 5 playoff spots remain in the NFL. We're down to the final week. The Pocky One Chip Challenge has never been hotter. I gave Rich the exact scenario for me to actually eat it, which there's only one way it happens, and you two have to hit a gnarly 6-leg parlay. We'll
Yeah.
get to that.
It's crazy.
But in college football, a couple really good college football games last night. Washington beat Texas 37-31. Michael Penix Jr., 430 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. Michigan beating Alabama in overtime in the Rose Bowl, 27-20 final score there. Alabama failing on a final chance at a 4th down. They end up just diving forward with the quarterback, which didn't make a ton of sense. College hoops, Aztecs got a huge win Friday night against Gonzaga, 84-74. In spite of that win, Aztecs with their 11-2 record heading into conference play, they somehow remain outside of the top 25 in spite of having a top 5 strength of schedule so far this season. They're getting ready for Fresno State tomorrow night at Viejas Arena. We gave away a pair of tickets earlier. Congratulations to Matthew. We got 2 pairs tomorrow morning. Darren Smith will have 1 later today. John and Jim 2 later tonight.
Okay, so absolutely awesome weekend of football. Less so from a basketball standpoint because of the result. Now, don't get me wrong. I am never going to turn my nose up at an Aztecs victory.
Yeah, and let's stand on business real quick.
Yeah, go
Miles
ahead.
Bird, who's a sophomore, played his
You
best
have the
college
floor.
played his best college basketball game ever. Lamar Butler was in some foul trouble, and so Miles Bird actually took the reins really the rest of the way. He played awesome. Darion Trammell off the bench had his best game since FAU a year ago, or the game before FAU. Who was that? Don't remember. But the Elite
Alabama.
8, yeah, Alabama, where Darion Trammell was the hero in the Sweet 16. So, like, when you look at this Aztecs team, a chief concern early on was that the bench play wasn't being that good. The bench play is here. And between Jay Powell, Darion Trammell, Miles Bird, Miles Heide, the bench is playing really, really good basketball right now.
Yeah, I don't want to diminish what has been a very successful non-conference campaign for the Aztecs. Only 2 losses in non-conference play, undefeated at home, undefeated on neutral courts.
The 2 losses were quad 1 road losses.
Exactly, to Grand Canyon U and to
BYU.
Thank you. Yeah, BYU on the road,
Cougars.
which again,
PYT, pretty young thing. I want some TLC, 10-11 care.
SOB, stand on business. Look, the point is,
Or
up on game. UOG. Hard one.
Yeah,
Hard one.
that was difficult.
UOG. Anyways, look, the point is,
University
UOG,
of Georgia.
we are up on game. The point is, we are we're looking at the Aztecs still outside of the top 25, and that's the result that I'm talking about and concentrating about today. And maybe it's the wrong thing to concentrate on. They start conference play, huge game against Fresno State. Another Bulldog mascot who will soon perish at the hands of the Aztecs, right? It was a great Friday night, except for the fact that we wake up Monday morning on January 1st. You know, you figure new year, new us, fresh start for the Aztecs. Nope. They're in the others receiving votes category.
I mean, they have the most of those others. They're at 26 in the country right now, but 26 and 25, it's a big difference.
It is a big difference. It's a big difference from a recruiting standpoint, and that's the reason why I'm upset by it. I'm not upset. Look, the Aztecs are the same team they would be if they were ranked. It doesn't really matter in terms of their season this year in the vacuum. But what it does matter is national attention. What it does matter is all of these talking heads featuring them on their big boards when they're talking about college basketball. Hey,
and they all say things like it's a down year for Gonzaga. How about it was a great game for San Diego State?
Or it's an up year for San Diego State.
Yeah.
How about following off of their national championship bid? All of a sudden you look at their non-conference, just what you said, only 2 quad 1 losses on the road, and they beat Gonzaga at home. This is a huge year for San Diego State and Brian Dutcher. First national championship run for the program, blah, blah, blah. They could make a headline out of that, but they won't. They can't because they rarely talk about teams outside of the top 25 on these programs.
And if we go the top 25 angle, like, and why it's a big deal, why it isn't, it's even down to the littlest things, which, like, when you open up whatever app you use, whether it's CBS Sports, ESPN, or Fox, when you look at the scoreboards, top 25 is the first scoreboard.
Yes, that's my point.
And it's a big deal. It really is.
It's visibility. It's important. It'll always be important, even if coaches, and I love all the coaches on the Mesa, even if they say it isn't important, they know how important it is because it comes up in the conversation. You want to be on top of the zeitgeist. You want to stand on business.
You know, the more you work it in, the better it feels.
It does. I mean, it's starting to flow.
Yeah, really. Gosh, I like it a lot.
I need to start doing other things like the mid that you dropped a little earlier. What are other?
Well, listen.
Yeah, well,
what was the Alabama quarterback wear? Was that Lank?
Oh,
let all naysayers know.
Oh my gosh!
What?
Yeah, holy
I didn't
smokes!
hear this.
Before
Lank?
the Rose Bowl, what's his name? He does
Reese
Oh
something.
yeah, Joe Reese.
Witherspoon.
No.
Not Witherspoon. but one of the talking pundits on ESPN Game Day. You know, it's Herb Street and it's McAfee and it's Desmond Howard. All these guys, and they're sitting on the panel, and all of a sudden he goes, Jalen Milroe wears his own branded T-shirts pregame,
Lank,
and it says Lank on it.
Okay,
right? And he goes, "It's let the naysayers
let all naysayers know."
And so all of a sudden, McAfee goes, "I thought that was going in a completely different direction, and we were all waiting here to see what was about to happen." And then they're all like falling out of their chairs laughing, but
that's good.
Yeah.
Good. I'm sure he was happy about it. Sold a lot of shirts.
We should.
Well, it was Pat McAfee didn't read the rundown. That's what happened there.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. It was just like, missed that point.
Wow.
Anyways.
Well, you need to work more. Stand on business in.
Well, I want everybody to get up on game from this standpoint. And we're going to be joined by Dr. David Chow coming up next. But
I thought you were going to say, speaking of standing.
Yeah. And speaking of standing on business.
How do you stand, Rich?
On your feet. And at the Good Feet store, they have these art supports. And oh my goodness, they have changed my life. It really is awesome when you find something that works. Everybody has that feeling. Like, you buy a new toaster, and you're just obsessed with it, or a coffee maker. Little appliances can change your day. But when it's something that actually affects you and your health and the way your body feels on a daily basis, it's all the better. And that's what happened at the Good Feet store for me. So I struggled with back pain for a long time following my NFL career. And as a result, I was kind of giving up and thinking surgery was on the docket somewhere in the near future. I was scheduling MRIs for a hip injury that I didn't even really know I was dealing with. And I find the Good Feet store. I have the free fitting and test walk. I start wearing these arch supports every single day. And all they are, it's just like you slide them into your shoes. You stand on top of them. You stand on business. And as a result, you feel way better. So my back pain has melted away. My knee pain that I was dealing with as well is gone. The hip pain is completely disappeared. And a lot of people have these same results. So if you're like me, you have lower body joint pain that you want to get rid of, Good Feet store is the place you should start your search at. So goodfeet.com, book your first appointment today. Like I said, all free, test fitting, test walk. You try before you buy experience. There's no gimmicks here. They're just going to be straight up with you. And if you want to get up on game, head to goodfeet.com today and check them out. That's goodfeet.com. Coming up next, Dr. David Chow gives you all the injury updates from a very busy sports weekend. We'll get your betting right with Doc David Chow coming up next.
This update is presented by Tire Rack. Starting off with college football, we got a couple really good games yesterday in the college football playoff. Washington beat Texas 37-31. Michael Penix Jr., 430 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns. Michigan took down Alabama in overtime at the Rose Bowl. 27-20 final score there. Alabama failing to convert on 4th down late. In college hoops, Aztecs got a huge win Friday night against Gonzaga, 84-74. In spite of that win and the Aztecs 11-2 record heading into conference play, San Diego State remaining outside of the top 25 as they get ready for Fresno State tomorrow night at Viejas Arena. In the NFL, final week of the regular season approaching, 5 playoff spots are still available. 11 teams still have a chance to make the postseason. Nearly 3,000 teen drivers die in car crashes every year. Tire Rack Street Survival is designed to save lives. The one-day hands-on driving school gives teens experience in car control through exercises that include emergency braking and skid recovery. Find a class near you at TireRack.com/survive.
Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760 coming up tomorrow on the show. We're going to have 2 pairs of tickets to Aztecs versus Fresno State. They're going to be playing tomorrow night, Viejas Arena. Tip time 7:30. Pregame coverage begins at 6:30. Tickets and info at goaztecs.com. Also, later on today, Darren Smith will have a pair to give away. John and Jim will have a couple pairs to give away, so keep it locked in here all day long. San Diego Sports 760. Fletch, during the break there, You mentioned that your wifey's been watching Sister Wives.
Terrible TV show.
Terrible TV show because of the quality of programming or because of what it represents?
I mean, whatever. To each his own about what it represents. It's not for me. I could say that quite honestly.
Is it for Kendall?
I know. She also gets weirded out by it. But okay. The whole reality TV and the like inside look at people's lives, I don't love it. Like Beverly Hills Housewives or whatever.
Okay.
Can have entertaining moments, but for the most part, I'm like, leave these people alone. Why do we care about them?
Well, I mean, they signed up for this.
Yeah, I get that.
They want it.
The Sister Wives thing, it's even deeper because you're like actually in their homes.
Yeah.
And so Kendall's been watching this nonstop for like the last 4 days because she's on break. And so she can do whatever she wants. And I respect that. But this show is terrible. I mean, it is so boring.
You do realize these reality TV shows are not exactly reality. There's a lot of scripting.
If it's not exactly reality and there's a lot of scripting, make it more entertaining.
Because
I'm sitting there, I was watching all the games on my iPad last night because Kendall had the TV, and I am listening to what this terrible show that's on the television, and it's so boring.
If it were reality and we were watching Sister Wives, the husband who had the multiple wives would have a to-do list that is so long he would never ever be able to catch up.
He's also a real creep, man.
Well, shocker.
Just in the couple of days that I've been watching this show now, he gives me weird vibes. What's his name? Cody?
I don't know.
Cody with a K?
I've seen Sister Wives come up. I've never watched Sister Wives.
Terrible show. Not worth it.
I watched Big Love on HBO, although I don't know if I ever saw the ending of it, which was basically Sister Wives, but actually scripted show, which was probably more entertaining than Sister Wives. Are you in on the Golden Bachelor marriage?
No, I haven't watched any Bachelor in years since college, and I was in a fantasy Bachelor league, which is a real thing.
Wait, what?
It's fantasy football, but it's The Bachelor.
Oh, you weren't actually being chosen. Speaking of fantasy football, you did lose in the league here.
Yeah, God, that's a bummer. So my team decided to have the worst game ever against Thor. Congratulations to Thor, I guess. But if I would have started Breece Hall, I would have won. If I would have started Kyler Murray, I would have won.
Wow, that's crazy to say.
Stinks.
That's crazy to say that if you would have started Kyler Murray, you would have won.
Over Geno Smith?
Well,
Kyler Murray?
Geno still hasn't written back. Kyler Murray somehow upsets the Eagles, which is a shocker. Now, how do you feel the Eagles look in the NFC?
Vulnerable.
They don't seem like they're going to be the scary buzzsaw that people are going to run into anymore in the NFC. I mean, it's the Niners. They're the juggernaut here. They got some injuries they're going to be dealing with, which we're going to be talking with Dr. David Chow right now, actually. He joins the show here. Doc David Chow. You can find him at Pro Football Doc on X. You can find him at sixscore.com. Dr. David Chow, Happy New Year, buddy.
Happy New Year to you guys. How are you guys?
Well, we're doing well. But Christian McCaffrey, now, will he be out this last game with an injury, and will he be okay 2 weeks off here? Will we see him in the playoffs?
Yes and yes. He will not be here week 18. Look, the 49ers have earned this right? But you never want to have a calf injury. Calf injuries can linger, no question. It seems mild, but they've got a break. Week 18 is meaningless. They've secured the number 1 seed. They have a bye, and then it's the divisional round. So in terms of market timing, it couldn't be any better for CMC and his calf.
I think it's the right move. Even if he was able to go, I think he'd be out. I just think that the Niners need to take these 2 weeks and really just rest everybody and keep everybody in bubble wrap. Doc, the Dolphins had quite the costly win, but Bradley Chubb looks like he's going to be done, with the torn ACL.
Yeah, and before we jump on to Miami, this is a complex decision, and it's not like people think. Okay, you only have 53 guys on the active roster. Yes, there's some practice squad promotions. You got to play 46. So you can't rest everybody. So if you go back to San Francisco 49ers, okay, you rest Brock Purdy. He's had a stinger. You rest Trent Williams, at left tackle, you with the groin. You rest Aaron Banks, the left guard with the toe, and you rest CMC. You're out of people. You got other people to rest. Javon Kinlaw's coming off a hamstring. I mean, it's not like college where you have 100 people on the roster and you can dump all the people into play. it's actually a very limited number of people who can rest. And there's some subtleties to here, right? Because if you really put them in bubble wrap for 2-3 weeks, how do you stay hot? How do you stay, ready to go and on edge? So there is a fine balance. And I don't think there's a one size meets all solution. The vet guy that doesn't need to practice, maybe you rest him, the young guy, but you can't rest everybody. It's a very complex decision. And Rich can speak to that too, and then also what sort of message does it send you resting certain stars, but everyone else still has to play. I mean, it's still 46 that are going to be suited up week 18.
Talking with Dr. David Chow, Pro Football Doc on X. You can find him at sicscore.com. That's Sports Injury Central. It's where I get all my sports injury news. Really, really cool. Just to thumb through that website. You could get great advice also on where to spend your money if you're a bettor. Fantasy football has just really come and passed, but that's a great place to start your season or get ready for your draft. So
daily fantasy, baby.
Oh, daily fantasy. Yeah. What am I talking about? Yeah. With some of these apps, like you log on, you can play daily fantasy, and that's just as important to have an edge on these betting apps. So yeah, check out sicscore.com to find all that information. So Doc, you were talking about a little bit there. Is there a detrimental effect to all of a sudden be playing football at this fever pitch all season long for 18 weeks and then just stop, like all of a sudden have this extended bye week heading into the most physical portion of the season? Like, is that really a good idea, or is it better for these teams to at very least let these players have some access to the violence of football so their brains are ready for the rigors of play when they come off of their first seed bye week into the postseason?
I've been asked that question a lot, just even in the regular season. Do you play with pads? Do you practice hard? Do you not? And the same thing here. And how do you have the perfect solution? We just talked about the 49ers. If they really give some guys some rest and so forth, and all of a sudden they don't play a meaningful game for 3 weeks, really, when you get down to it, can they start the game sharp?
Right.
And so forth. Rich, I don't know about you with your experience, but I don't think there's a one size fits all solution for this playoff scenario. Dan Campbell says he's playing his guys week 18. Kyle Shanahan says he's trying to figure it out. Some guys are saying they're resting players. And to me, it depends on your team, their fatigue level, and honestly, the player. Like, Rich, you've known guys who want to practice and demand to practice. And guys are like, look, I got a vet knee and, the rest will do me some good, right? And so it's not a one size fits all blanket solution for everybody. And I think it's an individual consideration based on the injury itself, et cetera. But how hard you go in practice is what people forget too. Everyone concentrates on the game, right? But 46 guys still got to play the game. How hard you go and what you do in practice during this extended period of time is probably as big a question or concern that people don't think about.
Dr. David Chow, we brought up Bradley Chubb for a bit there. He is done with the torn ACL. Bad news for the Dolphins. More bad news. Tua goes down with a shoulder injury. Did you see anything there that could be a lasting problem?
Yeah, well, look, Bradley Chubb, unfortunately, in game at Sports Injury Central, we said we think that he tore his ACL there, non-contact, and that's now come true. And that would be the bigger loss for the Dolphins than the Ravens game, which they lost by a bunch of points. The bigger loss is Bradley Chubb with an ACL. They already lost Jalen Phillips, their other key linebacker, with an Achilles earlier this season. And Xavier Howard left the game on a cart with his foot issue. And that's an issue clearly for their number one corner for this week against Buffalo. The Dolphins can't even start talking about playoffs yet. This is a game for the AFC East title. This is a game for a home game. Now, the Dolphins are in regardless. They're either in as a wild card and they'll be on the road, or they're in as a home team, right? And so that still makes a difference to them. Buffalo wins the AFC East if they can win here. And look, we already named 3 key defenders down there. Tua, fortunately, I think will be okay with his shoulder, at least by video. We weren't worried. It's his left shoulder, his throwing shoulder. But remember, Josh Allen has an issue too. He got hit in the left shoulder, but got a right side stinger, and you saw him moving his right hand. I think both Josh Allen and Tua Tagovailoa will be okay. But the Bills defense is starting to get healthier. They got Daquan Jones back. They're still missing some guys like Matt Milano, et cetera, and Tre'Davious White. But the bottom line is both defenses still a little bit ravaged. Both quarterbacks will be okay. And who would have thought weeks ago that there would be a AFC title game showdown here?
Doc, can't help but notice you're not in your scrubs. You're not in the office. It looks like you're about to go play golf. Is that what's that? Are we keeping you from your tee time?
Me and my old self and my back is good for one golf game, and that happened yesterday out here in the desert with the kids and their stuff, etc. So no golf for me today. This is just the corner of this house, friend's house, where it was a bit. I need more lighting, I guess, but as they say, I've got a face for radio, so it's probably okay.
No, you stop it, Doc. Handsome man and a great surgeon and a great doctor and a great website, sicscore.com. That's Sports Injury Central, sicscore.com for all of your sports injury updates. You can find them at Pro Football Doc on X as well. Hey, Doc, we appreciate the weekly visits. We'll see you next Tuesday. I almost said we'll see you in the new year, but we already have.
Sounds good. Another year stuck with me.
Yeah. No problems here about that. Yeah. Actually, you're stuck with us too. Thanks, Doc. There he goes. Dr. David Chao joining us there, first time of the year. Okay. Really quick, before we go to bottom of the barrel, I want to talk to you about my diet. So it's changed, and it's changed for good, because with sdfatloss.com, I've learned a new way of eating. I've learned a sustainable lifestyle approach to weight loss and weight maintenance, most importantly, because a lot of people can lose weight. You're not alone if you've been on a diet where you're like, oh, I'm down 20 pounds. Great. Well, what happens next? You gain it all back. You know what that's called? It's yo-yo dieting. And everybody's been guilty of this, especially people who've struggled with their weight for years. I've struggled with it myself. Actually, all three of us have. TD, Fletch as well. We've all had our
we were
issues.
fat. We get it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, listen, I didn't want to say it. We were a couple of fatty boom baddies. We were a couple of
good at it, though.
Husky fellas. Yeah. We were shopping in the big and tall, and we weren't focused on tall. We had belly button depth on our side and not much else.
There are big and wide sections.
Some people asked us about the circumference of our thighs, and we said, you know what? Maybe we shouldn't go there because it touches most people waist.
Right.
Look, the point is we were big boys, and now we're smaller big boys. We're actually much smaller. We lost in the first 6 weeks something nearing 110 pounds. Of the reduction phase of this lifestyle change, 110 pounds as a show. That is an adult human. That is an incredible amount of weight. So the weight loss was great, but the weight maintenance is the secret to sdfatloss.com. So again, if you're interested in the new year to get yourself back on track, 858-665-3211 is the number to call, or head over to sdfatloss.com. They've broken the code. They've figured it out. They help you lose the weight. They help you keep it off. And again, this isn't a fad diet. This isn't something you're going to lose a bunch of weight and then gain it all back. They help you maintain it too with their amazing weight loss team over there with Wayne and Chloe. That's sdfatloss.com, 858-665-3211.
Coming up, we got bottom of the barrel. And you know what, Rich? If you want to keep talking. Oh, here comes Ben now. Good. Coming up, we got to get to the stories that we didn't get to. Bottom of the barrel, New Year edition, coming up next.
Oh, yes. We're
doing it
back
right.
again. 2024 has never gone smoother. In fact, we've never even experienced 2024 yet.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So for the first rattle out of the box, I think we're nailing it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Queen of the North checking in on YouTube saying Happy New Year, gang. She's locked out of her Twitter account, but she's here listening. Thank you.
That's fine.
Maria, thank you so much. Paris, you're awesome.
We have not read any of the texts yet, and I have just opened it up. Okay, so check it out. Yeah, listen, you know what? We've kind of glossed over this. We're getting a lot of texts about some changes in the radio market. If you've listened to this station or stations like it before, whether it were, 1360 or 690, you are aware that John Quintera got his start with the Loose Cannons, Chet Forty and Steve Hartman. They called him Buttercup. Why do you build me up? Buttercup, baby, they played the song every time he came on, and he was like a high school football guru and a high school football coach. And so they loved having John on. He became a radio personality in this city. He recently lost his job, and there was reaction to it. Certainly, there always is. Look, he's a buddy. He's somebody who I've seen throughout the years in press boxes. And I've enjoyed talking to him, and he's a good guy. I can tell you, he's a good person. And yeah, I mean, look, this is the way it goes. The things change, the world changes. Everybody's going to be fine. It's a ugly business sometimes. It's unfortunate how things work out. But yeah, John Quintera, definitely a longtime voice in this market. And I'm sure he's going to find a way to find an outlet because he's got a lot of creativity and a lot of things to say.
Yeah. 913 saying I should start the new year by wearing a tank top like Pat McAfee. I've never even owned a tank top.
You would look good in a tank.
I would not at all. I would not.
So you just transform into Ben Fletcher slowly. Okay, so what you got to do? You buy the tank top.
Yeah,
okay. I still have one from like 10 years ago when I went to Bubba's in Hawaii.
Okay, good.
And then you got to buy some doucher sunglasses. In fact, I'll buy you the sunglasses.
In fact, I have them right now.
And then all these hats that you wear, it's so straightforward and everything. bend the bill a little bit,
Yeah.
turn it around backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah.
because my head is so giant, when I turn the hat around backwards, it looks funky.
No.
It looks
Yeah.
great.
It looks funky.
See,
Also-
you just have to wear it with what the kids are calling swag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
just need to stand up on business.
I like the flat bill hat.
Not stand up on business.
I
Stand
don't
on
know how
business.
these words.
Stand on business.
Stand on business. Not up.
913 says,
I've
are you
been
guys going to
standing on
do how many
business.
swipes to a butt in 2024? Check that box.
Yeah, we did that.
Nailed that.
Mhm.
No big deal.
Mhm, mhm.
Also, somebody was asking Ben, oh, yeah, Ben, you should have some Long John Silvers and then head to the man zone for some testosterone.
I would like you to sneak me a couple vials of testosterone
Dude,
just
I'm
to see what it'll do.
Let me tell you something about testosterone. Ever since I've been hitting the T, dude, I mean, everything is better. Everything. I feel like a damn teenager just chasing Annie around, doing push-ups at random.
And she says, get away from me because you're bald now.
Wow.
858 says, bald Rich looks like a man who prides himself on pronunciation and enunciation. Well,
Mhm,
guess what?
mhm.
Regular Rich does that too, not just bald Rich.
Yeah, I apologize to everybody for all that enunciating. Yeah, it's a real problem. Anthropomorphites.
Anthropomorphic deities. What?
Which, by the
You're
way,
talking
brings us
life
to the
after
bottom
death?
of the barrel.
Yeah.
Brings us right to the bottom of the barrel.
That's right.
A brilliant segue as always. So check this out. The artist formerly known as Twitter
Yes.
is struggling a little bit.
Just a wee bit.
Down 71% X compared to when Elon Musk bought.
We buy it from him?
Yes.
How
What
much did you
would
buy
we-
it for? Like $40 billion or something insane?
Dude.
So it's worth like 10.
I'll be honest, if I had $40 billion, my first notion would not be to buy a company.
I am buying
Mhm.
X with you guys
And changing the name.
to SOBs. Stand on business. Standonbusiness.com.
SOB.com.
I mean, how cool? Yeah, please look up that domain. We need that immediately.
SOB.com.
Also, have you guys heard of Ree Drummond, the Pioneer Lady?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So
I have not.
Ben's shaking
Is
his head.
that someone I should know?
Are you like a Food Network fan?
Not available.
TD?
Not of it. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's I mean, I don't know why that it makes me happy to watch people making food.
She's like the redhead who has a bunch of kids, like a whole flock of children.
She's the pioneer woman.
She does the ATV riding, and then all of a sudden she'll like show you how to like make a one-pot chicken casserole.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Right.
okay,
It's
okay.
always like, she's making dinner for the kids, the family.
So Ree Drummond, she got a tooth extracted. And I promise you it wasn't by Dr. Jordan Colby, my dentist and doctor over at Ocean View Dental, because she went in there and refused sedation, and she had it done. Like basically they tore the wisdom tooth from her head
Okay.
because she wanted to feel alive.
That's what she said. She's a sick puppy. She said, I declined sedation. It made me feel alive. It reminded me of one of my natural childbirths. I felt elated afterwards.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, the Pioneer Lady, I don't know what her husband looks like, but this
He's
guy,
going to be exhausted.
oh my gosh, good lord.
Yeah, he's got a lot to do there.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. If your old lady is requesting wisdom's teeth to be yanked out without sedation,
And natural childbirth?
then you need to head to the man zone with my doctor, Dr. Roy David.
Well, that's how we cap off the first show of 2024. Congratulations to the roadies, the dogs, the hangers, the bangers. Thank you all for being here. Rich TD, thank you boys for being here. Dr. David Chow, thank you for coming by. And we'll see you tomorrow on the second show.
Who won the
of
tickets today?
2024.
Oh yeah.
Matthew Jenkins. We already said that.
Oh,
we
handyman.
did?
Handyman
Oh, yeah.
Matthew Jenkins.
Yeah. Wait, was I here?
Jenkins.
Don't remember this being said. But congrats,
During my
Matthew.
halftime. So
We're
thanks for
barely
listening.
here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it was?
We
Probably looking up Ray Drummond.
we'll see you guys tomorrow.